stand up about it. More people need to talk about it. It is wrong.
And I was just thinking, I watched a documentary recently where they called LA the City of Angels. Yeah, it's filled with the most
Oh yeah.
depraved demons on
Oh
fucking
dude.
America.
I know the documentary you're talking about because I watched it with Frank Salerno, the detective. Do you realize how
Yep.
many serial killers were running around in the 70s
Yeah,
just in LA?
that was basically the golden age of serial
I
killers.
talked. Kenneth Bianchi, the
Toolbox
Hillside
murder,
Strangler. The
yeah, the
Hillside Strangler,
toolbox
Kenneth
murder,
Bianchi.
hillside strangler,
I talked to him.
the
I
night
talked to
stalker.
him. I spent a total of 6 hours talking to him, not in one day. Like 3 hours one day, 3 hours the next day. 6 hours total talking to Kenneth Bianchi.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. The 70s was a fucked up time. You had so many serial killers. I mean, it really was the height of serial killing. What was
Yep.
70s? You had Bundy, Gacy, fucking Ramirez. You had fucking the Sunset Strip Slayers, the Hillside
Yep.
Stranglers, the I-5 killers, the I-7 killer. I mean, over a dozen serial killers running around America at that time in the 70s.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm
And,
going to
and
jump off for about 20 minutes because
right,
I've just gone
sweetheart.
over a thorn and it's burst my tyre.
Ew, don't,
Huh?
go get that fixed.
Yeah, I'm going to go and get it fixed. I'll be back
Yeah,
on in
get
about
fixed,
20
bro.
minutes.
No worries. Thanks for coming on.
All right. No problem.
See
Bye.
ya. See ya. Is that Doom, right?
Yeah,
See ya, Doom.
yeah, that was Loki. So
Oh,
yeah, like you
Loki.
had,
That wasn't Doom.
yeah, no, that was Loki.
Oh, he sounded like Doom. I'm sorry. Well, nice.
No,
Good
he's
to
he's
see
he's
you.
from the UK. I don't
Good to
think Doom
see
is
you,
awake yet.
Loki.
I don't think Doom's up yet. But no, you had so many like serial killers running around in the 70s. It really was like the epidemic height
Well,
of the
that's when they
serial
started,
killer era.
and there's some theories on maybe the.
Well, it's not really when it
There's
started.
there's theories
It's
on the
not.
internet on the interstate system, making it easier for people to be
He
able to
that
do it.
wasn't it wasn't the start of serial killing. Guy Riles,
Well, it
who
was one of the
whose time was not good. Just in my opinion, doesn't sound like it was a good time. You dumb, stupid, fucking hillbilly fuck. Like I said, I wonder what the medical board would think of ethics violations. Try me, fag. Try me. And I'll have your
I
medical
think it's an
license
ethics
back forever.
violation. The fact that you're on call sometimes or in the ambulance and you've been streaming before, like you've said
Yeah, he was
that,
on,
and
he's been on like
I don't care how good you're with. I don't
he's
care
been
how
on,
good you're with a mute button.
I
You're
wonder,
risking a patient's identity. You're risking personal
not saying
information
that.
that coming over the radio to leak.
I wonder,
Well, I mean, he's risking that. You're
he's got
taking
a
that
job.
risk.
His job is to preserve life, not encourage people to take it. I wonder what the medical
Yeah,
board
and
would
you
think
literally,
when they
you
saw
told
video
me, you and
of him.
Charlie, y'all all said that you'll never call again. So if your call was so sincere, then why did you say you'll never call again? Because you didn't like the heat that you got over it.
Now, all I'm going to say is fuck around and find out. Fuck around and find out is all I'm going to say. Fuck around and find out. Fuck around and find out. And I'm just going to leave
Oh,
it
and
at
I
that.
think the June
Fuck around and find
29th
out.
thing is going to come back and bite some people.
Get back into our story.
Sure. So, so Holmes was accused of partaking in the murder,
Yeah, he was the only.
but is not the same as smoking crack or attempting to.
During the day.
By a chemical process, the cocaine becomes free from the sodium base, and this is where free
Okay.
base comes from. This step takes.
On 14 inches of nothing. No, thank you. You hang out with my life. Know where you live. Okay? I know where you live and I know who the fuck you are. And if I choose, everybody else will know who the fuck you are. Just depends on if I'm going to be a little bitch like you. See, that's the difference between me and you is I'm not a bitch. I'm not a bitch. I don't need to show up at your house of a fucking nobody. You're a fucking nobody. You're a fucking hick. Why don't you go back to school and learn a thing or two? Just saying. You ain't bending anybody over. The only person getting bent over is you. Repeatedly. Every day. Capiche? You know, and I bet your wife fucks you up the ass, doesn't she? I bet you're one of those little fucking redneck freaks. Little country boys that probably have fantasies about fucking your little drinking buddies, huh? I know your type. Hillbilly. I know your type. I know your type. You are not a decent Southern person. Because like I said, I know where you live. I know what town you live in, filthy. You ain't hidden. And if I so choose, everybody else will. If I so choose it. Because see, what you don't understand is I have control. Me, not you. You are not in control of my life. You're not in control of my internet. You're not in control of my reality. You're not in control of shit. You control your pathetic little channel and your pathetic little mouth. That's it. That's the only power you have in my world. And even that isn't any power. Because guess what, fag boy? I don't watch your show. I don't watch it. I don't look. I don't listen. And I don't give two fucks. That's the difference between me and everybody else you've tried to pick on is I have the power of ignore. And I've been ignoring you for the past 2 weeks. And I'm going to keep doing so because I'm an adult. I'm an adult. I have the ultimate power, not you. And as soon as you realize that, the better. So say what you want. What up, Six? Say what you want.
All right. Good morning.
Yeah, you see what I'm talking about? Like the
-1.
yeah, like at the bottom when you start sliding back on the play,
Mhm.
it says like -133, whatever. Like go. That's what I was talking about. Like -130.
Who's
Go
a
down
badass?
to your play where you're skipping forward and back. All right, right there. It
So
says
they fucked around with a guy who had a
130.
reputation.
Yeah, right in that.
This
Somewhere like
house, as
130
you
or
can see
so.
in this photo, that's
Okay.
blood. That house was painted with blood.
When I say beaten, there's crime scene
It's
footage you can watch. There's crime scene
Beans and understatement.
photos, and they are horrifying. It's one of the most famous murder cases in LA. After the Manson murders, it's probably the second biggest. And it's right down here. You ready to go for a walk?
Ready.
You ready to see it?
Yes.
All right, let's go. Okay, so it was June 29th, 1981. It was a brutal armed robbery at Eddie Nash's house. Now, Eddie Nash suspected that John Holmes was involved. And like I said, his bodyguard Gregory was shot and injured, but he sent Gregory to find John Holmes. And he spotted him walking around Hollywood. And he was wearing one of the rings that was stolen, right? Which is crazy. And then, like I said, Liberace's boyfriend apparently was there. What are we looking at? Of hammers, metal pipes, could have been baseball. He was found on the bed. And his wife Susan was beside him on the floor. She was the one who said, it's always been, was John Holmes there? Was he there? Some people, his wife said that, his ex-wife Sharon said that he was there, and that he came to her and claimed to be there. I can tell you how the bodies were found. There's one bloody body found on the living room floor beside the couch where she'd been sleeping. Joy Miller was found on her bed with William DeVeril at the foot of the bed in an upright position, leaning against the TV stand, a hammer beside the bed. And a fourth was found. The guy, his last name is Lonnie.
Yeah, it was about an hour and a half.
Has severe brain damage. Now, women, but it's most likely
Maybe
men.
maybe like 128.
And bludgeoned to death.
No, that's too far.
People.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we can always start.
You know, what would the medical...
There you go. Right in there.
Right, his own home.
Right in there.
Neighbors would report they heard loud screams, but no phone calls were placed to the police until about 4 o'clock. And like I said, the murders were said to take place around 3. And furniture movers, they came to the house next door to the crime scene. They heard Susan moaning. So all they heard was moaning from the house next door. And it was notorious, this house, for drug-fueled parties. So when people in this neighborhood, right where we're walking, when they heard all this screaming and stuff going on inside the house, they thought it was just another night at the Wonderland house. Isn't that crazy? And people were being absolutely brutalized there. Now we're almost at the house.
Yeah. Hey, JM, word to the wise. When you try to get into an email account that don't belong to you, I'm alerted, Mr. Alabama. Try again, dumb fuck. Try again. Keep trying. Keep trying. You ain't getting shit, bitch. You gotta wake up pretty early to pull one over on me, you dumb motherfucker. Oh, and by the way, what would the medical board think
Miss Bambi
if
wakes
they
up
got
early, y'all.
pictures? If they got pictures and videos of you on panel, imagine what would the Alabama medical board think on ethics violations? Your job is to preserve life, not try to
using a police call. Using a
You
police
dumb
call and trying to
motherfucker.
excuse, I have
What
a
a dumb
mandatory
bitch.
reporting thing. Well, you
You're
haven't
a dumb bitch.
mandatorily reported every time I supposedly nodded off, JM. So you just pick and choose when you mandatorily report? Fucking, don't
You
worry, they're gonna
fucking
find out.
dumb bitch. How fucking stupid are you,
For the
JM?
longest time, I've said please, 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 and now people are gonna start. If the law is not gonna work, we can always start putting in
I ain't
reports
worried.
and we can do our own protesting.
I ain't worried.
Because you
Ain't
sat
worried.
on that panel, of Army vets. All y'all sat on that panel of Army vets when her daughter was 17, not 18, and you fucking did your shit. Because you fucking were mad at Army that she was supporting me and all the other shit you were quote unquote mad about, calling out, whatever. It didn't give you a right to do that and talk how you talked about that
They don't
girl and
matter.
her mother.
They don't matter.
Especially when
They're
that girl
nobodies.
was underage.
Don't give two fucks. They're nobodies. They're nobodies. You guys are the dumbest motherfuckers on the planet. Dumbest. Really. Do you realize how fucking stupid you are? You just
This
tried
is
to
a
get into
whistleblower, y'all.
JM, you
This
just tried to
is
get
a
in an email
whistleblower.
address. You fucking dumb bitch. You dumb fucking
Bambi
redneck
is a
motherfucker. You
we
don't
protect
realize
whistleblowers
you fucking
in the
dumb
civilized
bitch.
world.
You are a dumb fucking bitch. You didn't think I was gonna get alerted that you tried to sign into a dummy email account? Guess what, dumb fucks? That's a dummy email account. I don't even use that for anything. But thanks for trying to get into shit that don't belong to you. Appreciate it, JM. You dumb, stupid, fucking hillbilly fuck. Like I said, I wonder what the medical board would think of ethics violations. Try me, fag. Try me. And I'll have your medical
I think it's an
license
ethics
back forever.
violation. The fact that you're you're on call sometimes or in the ambulance and you've been streaming before, like you've said
Yeah,
that.
he's
And I
been
don't
on
care.
my
I don't
panel.
care how good you're with. I don't
He's
care
been
how
on.
good you're with a mute button.
I
You're
wonder.
risking a patient's identity. You're risking personal information that's coming over the radio to leak.
I wonder.
Well, he's risking that. You're
He's got
taking
a
that
job.
risk.
His job is to preserve life, not encourage people to take it. I wonder what the medical board
And you
would think
literally,
when they
you
saw
told
video.
me, you and Charlie, y'all all said that you'll never call again. So if your call was so sincere, then why did you say you'll never call again? Because you didn't like the heat that you got over it.
Now, all I'm going to say is fuck around and find out. Fuck around and find out is all I'm going to say. Fuck around and find out. Fuck around and find out. And I'm just going to leave it
and
at
I
that.
think the June 29th thing is going to come back and bite some people for being reckless with things and saying things they don't know. But that's all I'm going to say on that, too, for the moment.
Yeah, well, fuck around and find out.
We'll touch on it more later.
Yeah, we're going to go back to Wonderland.
I'm about to smoke with you, Miss Bambi.
I would rather talk
Sure as
about
hell
this.
is.
I'd rather talk about this, which is a hell of a lot more interesting than a bunch of hillbilly, redneck, uneducated fuckheads. Honestly, I'd rather talk about this than
You're completely right.
this is something
Definitely.
they're not.
because
This is something, they're nothing. I'd rather talk about something than a bunch of nothing.
this is history. This is history, you know.
This
I
is
mean,
history.
it's true crime.
Yep.
All right.
It's far more interesting than a bunch of southern redneck fucks thinking they're far more interesting. We're gonna get back into it.
Just down here. Keep walking. So the initial theory about the murders was centered around John Holmes and his left palm.
She can pause it whenever she gets back.
He denied being there, but then his wife said his shoulder was there. The handprint was found. So he was arrested and charged with 4 counts of murder in March of 1982. And the prosecutor attempted to prove that Holmes was a willing participant who betrayed the Wonderland gang after not getting a full share of what was robbed from Eddie Nash's house. But Holmes, he had court-appointed defense lawyers, and they actually did well. They successfully presented him as one of the victims who had been forced by the real killers to give them entry to the house. Because apparently he was.
What year was that?
Should I go back forward, or you want to talk real quick?
No, you can go forward. I'll say a couple of things. First off, uneducated. Uneducated, huh? I'm not the one that gave out my fucking email and password, you stupid cunt. You did. You gave me your email and password. That means I can go do forgot password 20 times a day and ain't shit you can do about it. You're still going to get a notification. You'll fuck up and press yes, and I'll change that fucking password eventually. You're going to fuck up. I'll do it in the middle of the night. Maybe you'll press yes. Because that's what it's doing. It's sending a notification saying, did you log in from this IP, whatever. I don't give a shit about that. I also logged in from New York and New Jersey and Chicago. So which one was me? Or were they all me? Or were they all not me? Who knows? Stupid bitch. Oh, and Square. Go ahead and call whoever. Both of y'all motherfuckers call some medical board somewhere and tell them somebody on YouTube clicked forgot password. And that's an ethics violation.
Right. I mean, she did call the cops on books, so there's that.
Yeah.
I mean, she did. We have receipts. There's receipts, y'all.
She sent fucking banana and KY and something to Book's house. And I got the proof of that because she bragged to me about it.
Yeah. I got the receipt too somewhere. But yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
she's square. She is square made over. She is a. She gets so triggered over shit.
Oh, there's that receipt you're talking about. Yep.
Yep. I got that.
Yep. I think everybody got it. I mean, yeah. It's true. She did. And then she called the cops on him.
If they really think that they can call the fucking medical board and claim some bullshit from the internet is an ethics violation. Look up, Google the word ethics before you go throwing shit around like that. Hey, Square, you got proof of me being on live streams while I'm in the ambulance? Prove there's a patient in the back. Hey, you fucking dumbass. If it's on a fucking radio, what if they're standing next to some stranger in Walmart when the radio goes off? You stupid fuck. It's called a radio because it broadcasts for everybody to hear.
I'm not giving them
How
any
you doing,
attention.
mate?
Fucking idiot. I've been in the middle of fucking Walmart. I've been in the middle of church. I've been so many places with the damn radio going off. Nobody gives a shit because dispatch knows not to give out personal information over dispatched calls. You dumb fuck. That's stupid as hell.
Oh my god. I haven't even went out and smoked yet. I was too fucking listening in. Like, that shit was great.
Oh yeah, it was good. I didn't know she had done it. I went in and did the shit and I didn't even watch. I was just messing with her. I listened for a minute after I did it. She didn't do it right away. This was probably 10 minutes after I did the forgot password shit. And then somebody said something about, oh shit, she's triggered. So I went back and listened and was like, oh, all right. Got him.
Oh,
Oh
man.
shit! We could see the Northern Lights last night. Damn. What's up with him saying we couldn't? Motherfucker, come on TV on the news last night and said we wasn't gonna be able to see him. Wasn't no need in trying.
Because it's cloudy.
Because I just went to bed. I was like, well, fuck it. I ain't gonna stay up and try. And then people's posting pictures from my area and even as far down as fucking Dothan. I got a buddy in Dothan that posted pictures. I was like,
That's
well,
where my
shit.
friend's from, yeah.
I could have went out and seen it.
I know, I gotta go out there. That sucks. That's bullshit. They lied to you.
I
Never
know.
believe them.
I want
Never.
to redo. I want to do over.
Hit forgot password.
Cool. I ain't never seen nobody get worked up over forgot password before.
I have. Her.
Well, I've been holding on to that. I was going to do it earlier. I've been debating on doing it all week. So finally I just said, fuck it. Let me see what she does. Because a couple of days ago, I've done the forgot password. I just didn't do the send notification to phone. I did the send it to email or some shit. And I never heard her really respond to it. So today I was like, fuck it. I'm going to click all the options. I'm going to send it to everything. I did it again 3 or 4 more times after this, but I don't know if she said anything else.
Oh, hell. Oh, I don't know what they're talking about now.
If she fucks with me, I'll spend all day sitting here clicking forgot password because, bitch, you done authorized me as an authorized person. I can sit here and do it all fucking day and send constant notifications to your phone. And there ain't shit you can do about it because that one time you clicked yes authorized me on your account. That one time. And I ain't telling you how to get that off.
I say you should do it in like 10 minutes just to see if she'll do anything about it again.
Oh, I'm going to do it on a regular basis. Every time I set it my computer, I'm going to do it at least a couple of times.
Oh, hell.
And hell, it may come from Singapore. I don't know. It's wherever I want to log in from. The Middle East. I don't know. Somewhere. Russia. The Ukraine. Where can I connect from? I'll do it again now.
Bullshit.
Oh, the UK.
After alternate history channel, what if like George
leave him
Washington
for a
became
minute.
king of America? Wonder what that would have been like. You know, when he broke off from
Yeah.
England, what if he
Could you
became a
imagine?
king over there? Imagine
I
that.
don't know. I don't think a king ever came to him. Like during the Pilgrim, when they first came over here, I don't think a king ever did visit.
No,
did
they was trying to escape the royal family.
Yeah, I don't think any kings
The
ever
pilgrims were
visited
trying to escape the royals.
during the migration. I don't think
Yeah.
any. I mean, did a king ever come and visit the British troops over here on American soil ever? I don't think so.
I'm not sure. I
I'm
don't
not
think he
that
did. He just
familiar
had
with the British history.
he
I'm
just
not
had
that familiar with it.
various militias all over the show during the Great British Empire.
I would think that if a king did come during the Revolutionary War, I would think
It would have been a big event. It would have been down in the history books, that's for sure.
I would have think my history books. It would have been known here. I would think in American history.
Yeah, it would have.
I would have thought, yeah, interesting.
But back
Yeah.
to topic anyway. We're talking about that,
Yeah,
true crime fella.
like fuck history. Fuck history. Move on. Move on from that. All right, goddamn John Holmes.
UK was Britain.
Yeah, John Holmes.
Okay, he's a fucking druggie. We know that. We're gonna quit watching this stupid interview. We get it. He's a cokehead. It is blatantly obvious the guy's
Come
fucked
on,
up.
missus.
Blatantly obvious. Let's see if we can find a document. I'm gonna put on a video about John Holmes. The video with his wife and his, ex 15-year-old. Well, she's not 15 anymore, but like his ex girlfriend who was 15 at
Parsons,
the
Jack
time.
Russell, she is.
I think
Hashtag
that there's
long-legged.
not really a whole lot between this and current.
Let's see what I can find.
Or is this current? Is it current now?
The salt and the smut. Ugh.
Oh, they're stream
Let's
snapping.
do that. Let's see. John
Really?
Holmes was a
They're
dick.
stream
I
snapping?
think we pretty much established that.
Let's see.
That John Holmes was a fucking dick. I think we figured out he was a fucking dick.
Yeah, this is current.
All right, fuck it. Well, let's. I don't know if I'm gonna get hit for playing this video, but we're gonna find out.
Well, I hope so.
I don't. We're gonna find out.
Not
I
if
think
you
Deadbug
use,
Says
background
did a video
music.
on John Holmes. And he's
Yeah,
not
check it
politically correct how he talks about it.
Oops, let me pause that. Did it just jump to another video? It probably did. Yes, it did. All right. No, we're not going to that one. God damn it. Sorry, guys.
In the late 1970s, hardcore porno star John Curtis Holmes was a
In
night
case y'all were wondering, I'm in Manchester, Great Britain right now.
movies, money,
Go on,
sex, and
sir.
drugs.
Mr. Watt.
What kind of dog do you have, Loki?
Tell you in Crawford.
Parsons Jack Russell.
His freaking porn name.
Jack
His freaking porn
Russell.
name was Johnny.
Yeah. Parsons Jack Russell
Johnny.
Terrier.
I got a. Can you make me big just real quick, Miss Bambi, so Loki can see Brownie? This is Brownie. I want you to guess what breed you think he is.
Nobody wants to see that fucking dust mop
I was
of a
gonna
dog.
guess Yorkie, because he kind of looks like my daughter's old Yorkie that she had a little bit.
That's the
Or maybe
small. That's the
Scottish.
small. That's the smallest amount of blood he's got in him is Yorkie. But majority Chihuahua and then Pitbull, then Yorkie.
Well, he's got the
That's
tan. He's
a
got the
breed.
back. He's got the ears. He's got the fur. That led me to believe that he would, that would lead me to that presumption.
He's 53% Chihuahua, but he's got a little Yorkie
crazy.
Dachshund in him. Yeah. Well, I like your Jack Russell. I got to see him sometime, man. Well, unless you don't
Smallest
come on
dog.
camera.
The
I
smallest
understand
dog we
people
have
not. You got to be
is
careful.
I have a
of those
miniature pincher.
weirdos.
She's down there.
There
Can you see on camera?
We're
There
pulling
she
it
is.
up
Aw.
now. Yeah.
Hey,
It's her.
Aw,
Tilly.
Tilly.
nice,
Yeah.
Hey, Tilly.
nice,
That's
nice.
awesome.
Yeah, the smallest dog I have is my sons have a miniature pincher that's named Padme from Star Wars.
You didn't tell me
It's a
you had a
red.
pincher.
Yeah,
Told me
she's
you
a red
had
min pin.
Shiba and a Dober.
Yeah, I got a Shiba
Did you have a
Inu.
Dober?
Yeah, I got a
Doberman?
Shiba Inu. Go Shiba the terrorist. I've got the Doberman Italian Greyhound Gracie that I
Or
rescued.
Dobermans. They're scary
Yeah,
dogs, them.
she's a
Dobermans.
great
And you
dog.
call him that. Can you say it again?
When I call her,
Dosh hound.
when I call her, I'll be like, das Hund, come. It's
Das Hund.
German for the dog, and she'll come. It's one of her command words. I'll be like, das Hund. My husband taught her that. My husband was German, so he taught her that's the only German word I know.
How old is she?
She's about 5-6 years old now.
And what's her name?
Her name's Gracie. Gracie Ann.
Gracie. So we got Shiba the terrorist, we got Gracie,
Yes.
and then the pincher is what's his name?
Her name is Padme. She's a red miniature
We got
pincher.
Padme.
Her name's Padme. And
And
she's really old. Well, she's not really, really old. She's probably like 8.
And the fourth
7, 8
breed's
years old.
name?
I'm sorry?
Isn't there one more? The fourth breed name?
Oh yeah, my daughter has a Meagle, which is a miniature pincher beagle.
Beagles are absolutely lovely dogs.
She's a weird dog. She's got the head of
What's her name?
her name's Nala. Her name's Nala.
So you only have one male, and that's Shiba.
Fucking Shiba.
Shiba?
Yeah, a little asshole.
Yeah.
Like an asshole terrorist dog. That dog is such
Oh,
a
my
dick.
dog was about 10 week old. She went out on field for her first run. Started playing with a Japanese Akita.
You got Shiba fixed, right?
Oh, that fucking little asshole Shiba ate all of my astronaut ice cream. Ate all of it.
Oh my god! Wait, is he fixed? You got him
he's
fixed,
fixed.
right? I'm sure.
Oh, he's fixed. He's just a fucking dick.
He'd be
just a dick.
wild as fuck if he wasn't fixed.
He's just a dick. He's just a fucking dick, and he likes to tear shit up on purpose. I
You
swear to
need
God,
to
he does it on
start
purpose.
when you eat and he tries to beg or something. You need to start leaving food like out, not that far in front of him. And anytime he tries to go for it, go no, and try
Yeah,
to
that's
work
exactly
on
what my dad
food.
does with Tilly when she wants a bit of pizza crust.
And then if he stays there and he doesn't touch the food the whole time until you finish eating, then he gets what little that you gave him as scrap at the end. You say green light or go or free, and that's what rewards. That's what I do with Brownie, or at least we did part of this training.
You ever see those funny videos where a dog will find the guy's edibles and then eat them, and then the dog's acting
Well,
weird afterwards?
if I'm not paying attention, Brownie might, but if I drop something, Brownie's not gonna go for it. He'll look up at me and I'll look at him, and if I drop something, I might be like, wait. And he'll sit there and he'll wait, and I get done eating, and I'll be like, there you go ahead. And he eats it. I don't drop a lot though.
My dog Tilly, she's the friendliest dog ever, loves babies, but as soon as that gate closed and there's someone on the opposite side of it, she wants to get to them and let them know that I'm here. This is my place.
Is your dog aggressive towards cats or other dogs? Because my dog is like wants to go
No,
and hug.
she's not
and
aggressive
go
to
up.
other dogs at all.
But
Cats sometimes wind her up.
does she get excited like when she
Yeah.
sees them or something? So
Yeah,
does
she wants to
Brownie.
play with them,
Yeah, so does Brownie. Same way.
especially when there's babies, like human babies when they're around. She wants to play with them.
Oh yeah, Brownie's getting a little popularity with my neighbors' kids. They love playing with Brownie.
As soon as my brother's son comes down, he's a little toddler. She wants to play with him all day till she tires him out.
And Brownie's so smart too. Like he's never once attempted or looked like he was about to jump. And I was scared too because they're just barely a little bit taller than Brownie. They're like young, And so like I'll tell him no, leave them alone, and their mom will be like, no, he's okay. He can come over if he wants. And I was like, okay, go ahead, Brownie. Because I want him to
Come
be
on, so
social.
let's go this way.
Because he spends a lot of time solitary, and then when he's in harness and with me walking or working or going out with me and about, like he's in service dog mode. But at home, when that thing comes off, he's in fucking regular mode. He's stubborn around.
Come on, lady, let's go.
And then people criticized me and gave me crap about having a training collar. Look, it's my dog, and I tell you what, when that collar goes on, he's he's just as behaved. It's not like it used to be, but in the old days, he knew when the collar went on, it's time to work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My favourite dog, though, just for sheer character, is definitely Jack Russell's. They got everything. They got the aggression. They got the cuteness. But the little shits.
And pinch collars do not hurt them. They just give a correction. They're blunted. They're not sharp. And it's 10 times better, I would think, than a shock collar, which we hadn't had to use with Brownie much. I've got one, but we hadn't used it, but maybe like once or twice because I didn't need it. Kind of disappointed I bought it. The thing was $200 for one of those half-mile range collars.
Come on, Sil. Let's go this way. You having a good day then?
I am. I think Miss Bambi might be busy.
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, okay. She's still here. I didn't know she stepped away for a second.
Nope.
There she is walking.
I'm just listening.
Oh, I love dogs, man. My favorite animal.
Yeah, they're beautiful. I love dogs myself.
I could never.
We've had a dog in the house ever since I was a baby. Ever since I was a baby, we've had about 7.
I didn't get to grow up with that experience, but I started working with dogs when I was 16, and like I got really close to them and got to learn all about, and I can't stand like that's why I'm glad God blessed me with Brownie, because I can't stand people that abuse dogs.
Oh,
So,
anyone who abuses a dog needs to be chucked off a bridge, as far as I'm concerned.
yeah, they need to be put in a kennel.
Yep.
Because where I work, we had like kennel-free dog daycare. The only time we would board them would be for lunch, and they wouldn't even be boarded overnight. Overnight, they would be out free to roam in a certain space that we had.
Yeah.
And I would have to go around, and I'd take them out and stay all night with them, and then in the morning I'd get relief.
I'm
I
not
might go out
friends
for
with
a
Skulls.
me
I'm
work
not friends
the
with
night
that
shift.
person anymore. I'm not friends with that person anymore. So sorry to hear about your bad luck. That's karma. That's karma. I had nothing to do with it, but to hear that's karma. That's
What
karma.
is it?
Straight up karma. That is
What it
fucking
please say?
karma right there. Right,
Dan
Bam? Karma.
Channel. What does that mean? Four struck? Do you mean God struck?
Yeah, channel got struck. That's karma.
Mocon did just thought you should know. Well,
That's
Oh,
karma.
Mocon's a fucking loser, Mo Karen.
Mocon's a loser, but that's karma. They all wanted to be.
I-
They all wanted
I'm
to be
not gonna
phony.
call him. I respect
So-
y'all's opinion, but Mocon's always was kind to me and nice with my shit. So, I'm not gonna call him that, but I'm sure
I don't know him like that. but
everybody's not perfect.
I got no interest.
Yeah, nobody's
What
perfect.
I do know, I don't like. What I do know, I don't like. And I have seen his criminal record. I do know about the minor, and that I got no use for him. None.
Oh,
None.
wait. Now, I didn't know. I've heard that before, but I thought it was bullshit. You've seen a record.
Go look up Florida. You should really Google courts online.
Come on, you.
I apologize. Like, I'm gonna have to see that for real. Like,
I don't
'cause
run
I
on
don't want to be
rumors. Just
speaking.
look it
I
up.
don't want to. I don't see. That's why I fucking hate this shit.
Just like
man.
the sex trafficker. Just like the sex trafficker. Glenwood Brown, the state of Wisconsin versus Glenwood Brown. You can find it
they were-
online. The whole court.
They were
Go on,
saying
so let's go.
they were saying it's not good what her boyfriend did, but they were basically separating her from it completely. That's what they were doing.
She was involved. She was his partner in crime. The Freedom Success Sobriety Clinic was ran by her and her fucking boyfriend. He was the director up until he got busted. And then she was listed as a director.
We got MPP
It's just
trying to
not
tell
fair.
Bambi what the pecking order is, like she belongs in any fucking.
I'm not
under
in your
anybody.
pecking order. First and foremost, I am MobTube. MobTube. Okay? I'm not in your little fucking
Hashtag
pecking
mob
order.
too.
I don't take orders from anybody. I do whatever the fuck I want. Always have, always will be. That's why I stand out. Because I do
Put
whatever
that
the
up,
fuck I
buddy.
want. I don't take fucking orders, and I don't follow the fucking crowd.
I like that.
That's why I've
Free
been
thinker.
consistent for the
Just in
past
case people don't
2
know.
years. Past 2 years, I've been consistent. Consistent. I don't flip flop. I don't
Stay
do the
free-
scumbag
stay
shit you
free
motherfuckers
thinking.
do. I stay by my fucking morals and I stay by my guide. Yeah, does my moral compass get off sometimes? Yeah, my moral compass got off. And luckily I had people I respect to put me in check.
Yeah.
People like
man,
Heidi Black.
Too many people don't have that around them nowadays, so they basically have
People
yes
I
men.
respect.
Miss Bambi, will you highlight my last comment? Just for the ones in the back. 'Cause
You
they
know,
don't know.
when I have people I respect saying
This is
things to
not
me like Bambi,
Crack Squad or Creek Squad or any of that.
saying things to me like Bambi, you know that ain't right. I have to seriously sit and look at myself, and that's exactly what happened. I've had
Right.
several weeks, a month.
They're trying to paint you and me
Okay.
as people that want sympathy or farming
I
for
don't
it.
need sympathy.
Ain't nobody wanting no sympathy. We're just expressing and relating the fact that look, we got some mental strain
But-
from
Excuse me.
past shit.
I don't have no strain.
Mm-mm.
I ain't got no
Oh,
mental
oh,
strain. You may,
what
but I
ma-
don't. I'm straight.
Well, what am
I'm
I
straight.
saying? I'm
I'm
trying
good.
to say it. They had talked about you had talked about something on a stream, and
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with that. But that doesn't mean you're not a strong person, or I'm not. I'm just saying that
I use my
people are-
stories to help others.
people
I
are
use my
human beings.
stories to help
They
others.
got real.
And to date, my story about what happened to my husband has saved lives because several people stopped drinking alcohol.
And
Several
that's a good
people
thing. That's
said
great.
they heard my story and they want different for their children.
That's a blessing because something
Yes,
positive can
I
come
use
out
my
of
story to help
something
others.
so tragic.
Yeah,
And
I
to
use my
attack,
story to help others. I don't want your fucking sympathy. What I want you to do is live, to survive, and to
yeah,
be a
no,
better person.
you want respect, and
I don't need
we do,
respect.
and
I have
people deserve.
respect.
Well, people deserve it.
I
That's
have respect. I don't need
don't
respect.
get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, Miss Bambi. I'm not trying to say it like that. You know what I mean?
No,
I
I
mean,
know. I'm
just
just
like,
saying I don't need anything. I got what I need.
yeah.
I have my friends. I have my family. I have everything I need. I
Nobody
don't
wants
need
people.
anything else. I'm
If there's
set.
people we don't care about, we don't
I have a
care
great
about
life.
you understanding the story or feeling sorry or not, or understanding or not. We don't care because we're not invested in you. That's the point. But people that want to be around us and stuff, like, you got to have respect. You got, like, we want to hear stuff about you. Everybody has a story.
I've been the same person for the past 2 years. I've told the same stories. I've been consistent.
I can relate. I can relate to that. July
That's
2022.
why I have the
when
people
started
I
getting
have.
targeted.
That's why I have the friends I have. That's why the people I have. That's why I have the chat room that I have. My chat room
You're
is
the
built around people that I've gotten to know for 2 years straight.
your channel is one of the few in Goku's, like, where I see diverse people coming together, things that normally people fight over or squabble because of petty differences, but not because, like, y'all are just, I don't know, the atmosphere is just different. I mean, it is.
Well, the difference between
It'd be a fuck
me
lie
and
to
my
say it.
friends is that we act like adults. If we have a
Yeah.
problem with each other, we talk about it off of YouTube.
Privately. Yeah, like, anybody can make a Zoom room for their friends, a StreamYard
You know,
that
I'll
doesn't
send
go
you.
live.
I'll do
You
things
can
like
make
send you an Instagram message, right, Seth? An Instagram message, like saying things like, "Do we have a problem? Something you want to fucking tell me?"
exactly.
Right?
And if you want, and here's to other YouTubers. If you're working with other YouTubers or people and you got a team or something and y'all got issues, don't bring it up on a live or in a chat. You can make one of these StreamYards, like, you're gonna go live, set it private, hand out the link, and people can come in here and y'all can talk. You don't have to fucking make it a show. You know, you don't have to make it a drama for views.
Yeah, and know your business in the right place at the right time.
I don't listen to nobodies. I don't listen to strangers. I don't watch.
Most
strangers
respectable
talk about
people are
me.
those who are not afraid to
No.
be called out on the bullshit and learn from it. You know what I mean?
Christopher,
between-
I'm jealous. I'm jealous of your indica vape, but I got an indica
Christopher,
rolled up.
I'm
So
about to send you the Sheba. I'm about to say, Chris, you know how bad you wanted Ghost? Take him. I swear to God. That fucking little shithead ate all my astronaut ice cream. You know how he destroyed my keyboard and mouse. List of things, my dude. List of things that motherfucker's done. He is a goddamn terrorist. He is a fucking terrorist. And I've been trying to make negotiations with North Korea to send his ass back. They don't even want him. They're like, no, you keep the terrorist. And I'm like, I don't want him. He's terrorizing everything.
hey, Chris, is it live resin or just regular distillate? Just wondering, bro. Live resin would be better, but
Chris gets the best. Chris gets the best vape. So like, he would send me pictures on Instagram, and he gets the best shit. Yeah, I don't have an Instagram anymore. So if you want to talk to me, we'll figure it out.
you gotta be an adult, and, like, people start being an adult and,
like Chris,
you
I
know,
think I added
not
you
give
to
out
my
numbers.
new one. I think I added you to my new.
Let's
to my
wait till.
new
Come on,
shit.
let's go.
You have a new one?
If you ain't MobTube and I don't know you, I'm not adding you to anything in any of my shit. So
Excuse
good
me.
luck. You're gonna have to call me or text me, and if you continue to text or call me, I will file a police report straight up. So test me, fuck around and find out. I'm an adult. I follow the laws, and you don't want to follow the laws, you can catch a case. You don't like it, go break the fucking law. You don't like it, don't break the law. It's
Bunch of my
that fucking
texts didn't
simple.
go through.
Or as I like to call it, natural consequences. Natural consequences. And some of you people in YouTube have been facing natural consequences, haven't you? Right, Paula? Natural consequences. You're a heinous cunt. And that's why karma slapped you in the face. And Dan, you lost your channel because you're a two-faced bitch. Let's be honest. You're fake. You're phony. Fake phony. Bunch of phony motherfuckers. Karma. Me, I'm doing great. Everything's great in my world. I got money. My kids are good. My channel's good. Everything's good in my world. Because I put out good karma. Not bad. I do things for others. I don't try to tear people down. On repeat every day, all day. That's the difference.
Yeah,
But let's
bunch of
continue with what
messages
we were
didn't go
talking
through.
about. I have wasted enough time on a bunch of nobodies. I'm not going to waste any more of my time talking about a bunch of nobodies. That don't matter. They don't matter two fucks over here. They don't matter two fucks to me. You don't matter. Don't exist.
Feel you.
Don't
Was
exist.
assured until his involvement
They don't
in one
exist.
of the most horrific murders of the last 30 years.
It was as though somebody walked through the house with buckets of
I'm
blood
gonna
sloshing.
switch
The
again.
brutal slayings known as the Wonderland
I'm about to
murders
go
were, for all
outside.
intents and purposes, the results of Holmes' insatiable drug addiction and his utter lack of moral judgment.
Oh,
We will
yeah.
take you inside the world of John Holmes, a simple country boy who rocketed
Sounds
to
like they
fame by
hit it on
virtue
the
of his
head.
physical abnormality.
He had the biggest penis in adult film. It was amazing. It was a freak out.
You'll see him swallowed whole by his alter ego, Johnny Wad.
He took this character really seriously. And he comes in and he says, John Holmes here, I'm Johnny Watt. You know, I have a really big dick.
You'll watch him fall headfirst into drug addiction.
The only thing John wanted to do was to do cocaine.
You'll see Holmes transform like Jekyll and Hyde into a twisted image of himself.
As we were driving, he backhanded me, called me a liar, and beat the crap out of me.
And finally, you'll be taken step by step through the macabre events that led to a slaughter so perverse and evil, it shocked even the hardest homicide detectives.
The first thing that struck me was this isn't just a killing, there's a message.
This is a story of sex, drugs, money, and murder, of boogie nights gone bad. This is the story of John Holmes and the Wonderland murders.
Wow. Get into it.
Advice of a photographer, 24-year-old
Oh,
John
shit.
Holmes started posing for adult magazines. Usual twist of
Goddamn.
John,
Yeah,
yeah.
we don't want to see all that.
It wasn't graphic, but it wasn't that
John was a
graphic.
sensation,
Yeah,
an
I don't see
overnight
all that.
star in the shadowy business of porn.
It was mature
I'm
audiences.
hoping the whole time that, the
Okay, this is his wife that I was talking about.
I'm gonna switch.
She's the one that said that he showed up, that he, is this you in back?
Yeah, I'm switching.
Okay. Yeah.
Just put this one in the back. I'm going outside. That's what it is.
All right, this one? It don't matter. I'll just leave it. Anyways, she's the one that said that he showed up at her house in bloody. Like, this is the wife of John Holmes. Well, she was separated with him at the time that he was fucking the 13-year-old and doing that. Well, I'll let her tell you if it gets into all that.
this is going to blow over and nothing's going to happen, and it didn't.
Holmes, in fact, wasn't satisfied with print work. He wanted to try film. So in 1970, John went to a casting call arranged by porno agent Reb Sowitz.
I had an office on Las Palmas, and 3 people one day came in the office.
Doesn't that guy look like a smut peddler? Right, Chris? Doesn't he look like he looks like your classic smut peddler? He's got the beard, the mustache, heavy
Looks
set,
like a creepy older
dressed as
version.
sloppily. Yeah, he looks
of
like a
Ron
smut
Jeremy.
peddler. Yeah, he looks like
Hey,
he looks like he's a
guys,
porn
I've got a family coming around to the house, so I'm going to jump off.
All right, sweetheart. Thanks for coming on. You have a great day with your
No
family.
problem.
See you, Loki.
See you
You have
later.
a good day, you
See
and
you later, man.
Tilly.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
2 of them, I weren't sure what they were. And John wanted to make some money, wanted to make some loops. Loops were about 40 minutes to an
Oh
hour
shit!
worth of sex.
40
In
minutes.
1970, sexually explicit films were illegal. These loops were shown secretly at bachelor parties and all-male stag events. By the time John left the agent's
Oh,
office, Holmes
so
had an
that's how
offer
it
to
started.
star in film loops. It was easy work.
Yeah,
Show
stag
up,
events
have
was like a
sex, and
big
get
thing
paid.
back in the
Holmes didn't
70s.
find his work morally
Private,
troubling, nor did he consider
porn films, because it was
on-screen
illegal.
sex marital
Porn was illegal
infidelity.
back then.
One day
Like
he comes home and
speakeasies
he
and
tells me
not
that
the
he's
speakeasy and
found
then
one of
the
those
bath
movies.
clubs.
And I said,
Yeah,
John,
exactly.
I
Exactly.
mean, you know, we're married. I'm not going out and fooling around, and you're the male equivalent of a whore. And he said, well, you can't think of it that way. You know, it's like if I were a carpenter, this is my tool.
In July 1972, porn exploded into the mainstream with the release of X-rated film Deep Throat.
When Deep Throat came out, couples went. You know, I mean, middle-class couples lined up around the block to go see Deep Throat.
Former porn star Gloria Leonard.
Deep Throat absolutely started it all.
Producers rushed to capitalize on porn's newfound popularity. Director Bob Chin held open casting sessions, and Holmes showed up at an audition.
Like all of Times Square during the late 70s, early 80s was all peep shows, X-rated theaters, like Smut Central.
Yeah, and remember Ted
Smut
Bundy,
Central.
the detective magazines? Detective Apex?
Yeah, he's full of shit. Detective Bundy did not kill because of detective magazines. That's such a cop out. He's full of shit.
No, but those
That was a
detective
cop-out.
magazines were a precursor. They were like magazine porno mags with a detective story, but with BDSM
Yeah.
added
They were
into
like
it.
the original, porn mags.
Cut his hair a
basically.
little, plaster it down.
What you're saying?
Brilliantine. And
Yeah, old school, like 40s, 50s, up to maybe 60s, maybe up to the 70s. I think about the 70s they stopped.
Like, okay, so according to this guy, due to morality laws in the 70s, 60s, 70s, due to morality laws, they couldn't just have
Richard
people
Nixon.
having, like the shit you see today, where you just have people having sex. You couldn't do that. So they had to have some bullshit story. It had to be like a movie. They couldn't just have people fucking on film because of morality laws. And that's kind of what he was saying, was that it had to have a story, you know. So we're getting into like how the porn industry works in the 70s.
my partner when he.
It's always a technical loophole.
What John had said,
Nah.
God, what a wad that guy has.
John was paid $75 to star as the title character in Johnny Wad. The film was
75
shot in 2
bucks.
days. It's on a budget.
$75 bucks. That's not very much. I mean, was that a lot of money back
Bro,
in the
but
70s? Is that a lot of
wait,
money?
that's what he got paid for doing it?
Yeah.
But do they get
for this
paid
movie.
for
For his
replays?
first-
Do they get do they get any like royalties for stuff that's out there
I
that
don't
they're
know.
selling? I wonder how that works. No, $75. I mean, for 40 minutes of sex
I
in
have
the
no idea.
70s, I'd imagine probably is about the equivalent purchasing power of like. Hold on one second.
I don't know.
Um,
Okay, so
what year was that?
hold on, I got it. It was, so he got paid the equivalent of $603 today, in today's money. So like
For
$75.
45 minutes worth of sex.
Well, it was $600 today, which I guess a day's work, right?
That's the
Ain't
purchasing power.
terrible. That ain't terrible. Today, I think it might be more money than that. Porn stars for like movies. I'm not real sure. I'm not a porn expert. So.
They probably top off maybe at the most like a really high quality wanted to see porn star. I mean, I can see
Well,
them
he
making
made
1,000
more.
at the most
Like,
on a shoot.
this was just his first film, his very first film. And when you just start out, you're not making top dollar. So this is his very first film. He got $75. 75.
That girl right there is pretty.
$2,500.
The Johnny Wad films
Yeah,
made a
he
lot
got
of money.
$75 to
They were
pretty girl,
blockbusters
I
in their
guess.
day.
Adult film director Jim Holiday.
John Holmes became identified
I
as
mean,
Johnny
it's easy
Wad,
to
and
see
in fact,
what the
I'd say
allure
through
is
the
for
first
people
half
to
of
get
the
into it.
70s, Johnny Wad was better known than John C. Holmes, the actor who portrayed him. He was often mistaken for the character.
Despite their popularity, porn films were still
But I
illegal.
hear about
It
even
was
in
sort of this
porn,
dichotomy that people were lined
it
up
still
and
works
it was
to
legal to
some.
go see these films. But if you got caught in the act of making one of the films, you could go to jail. And people did.
The pornsters hatched elaborate plots to evade the police.
It was a guerrilla style shooting. Nobody knew where we were.
Can you imagine that? You're trying to film a movie and you have to be all secretive. You got to run around because the cops will come and bust you. Yeah, not something I'd want to do. Not something.
Well,
Yeah.
this is
We're
the height
shooting
of the
until
beginning of the war on
until
drugs and everything
the day
else,
came and
which
we
we
went from
know
car
now
to
today
Nah,
was
the war on
done.
the war on drugs didn't come till '85. This is way before that. Way before the war on
No,
drugs.
Nixon
Way
started the war on drugs. I swear.
well,
Nixon had
no,
a
Reagan did. Reagan,
no. Reagan
1985.
kept it forward. Reagan kept it forward. Yeah, they had the Just Say No campaign. You're right. I'm not saying you're wrong either,
Did
but
Nixon really?
Nixon.
Nixon really started?
Yes,
Uh,
there was
I'll
there
take your
was
word
a
for it.
if you Henry Anslinger was a Bureau of Narcotics, and the reason Nixon said we can't make it illegal to be a hippie or queer. You know, he said so we'll target what their community, and that's why they targeted marijuana
Gotcha. Okay.
because the people were against the war on marijuana. Stoneheads,
Well, there
stoners.
is a huge war on porn. There was a huge war on porn in the 70s, 80s. I mean, Larry Flint got shot. Larry Flint had to go to court a dozen times for Hustler magazine. So morality laws were like a big deal back then in the 70s.
And eventually to our
Not
location.
morality.
It was a wild and
About
bold
morality.
Did they
business with its
repeal
own
them?
distinctive customers. Photographer Joel Sussman.
There were
Did they repeal those
well,
morality laws?
I don't know. Yeah, you're welcome, no problem. I don't know. Because see, the guy across the street from me, I actually watched the FBI go to his house. And I heard that he was manufacturing porn in the trailers on his property. Well, I also found out later on that he was also like possibly trafficking women and shit. Anyways, I was told that that was illegal, that you can't manufacture porn, I guess. Cause see, I thought all those laws were like, I thought all those laws were gone. You know, like all the laws that affected the porn industry, I thought those were like history. But there are still, I guess, laws around decency. I guess you call them morality laws on porn still in some states. Like there are still laws, I believe.
I'm looking it up.
I believe there are because they were looking at him for manufacturing porn when the FBI went there like 2 years ago. Well, he ended up selling his house to somebody else, but and I eventually, me and a couple of neighbors ran his ass out of town. He ended up moving to another house in town, and when I found out that he was involved in what he was involved in, we started calling him out. We made his life a living hell to live here, and he eventually fucking moved. Goddamn scumbag, fucking scumbag. And I believe this stuff because I watched the FBI go to his house. I watched them. And the new people that bought their house told me they found locks on the outside of the kids' bedroom doors. And there was rumors that he was trafficking, which would explain why the FBI was there, you know, for something more than porn. You know what I mean? So, and then I did some more digging into him. And the guy's a real scumbag. Like he's a con man. He ran some freedom of speech type fucking website like Facebook. Like he used like Facebook's model. And what people would do is they'd pay him for a membership. And he would break into their computers, get like photos of them and shit. He was a real scumbag. Like he's being sued by a Canadian company. He's not even an American citizen. Well, I mean, he's an American citizen, but he's not even from America. He's like a fucking Canadian. He's like a goddamn Canadian running a fucking free speech type. It's like, get out of here, you fucking con man poser. Get out of here. Yeah, real scumbag. Like I said, I don't give a fuck about internet people. I have real villains that I've dealt with that in my life. I don't need to deal. I don't give two fucks about some faceless hillbillies. Don't give two fucks. or about their little threats or about any of their bullshit. Don't give two fucks. Zero control over here. Zero. All right, well, let's get back into our video. Let's get back into it.
Times in this business when you work on a set and you'd look down below the camera and there'd be a mirror with coke on it, and everyone come by and have a hit. It was just part of that process.
Though cocaine was everywhere, Holmes did not touch the stuff at first. John Holmes was an unemployed hick with 2 bad lungs and few prospects when fate in the form of an awestruck photographer walked into his life. What happened to John can be called a fairy tale, an X-rated fairy tale.
Well, basically, he was a fucking hit. Country boy.
When I first worked with him, the film Johnny Wad, he wouldn't even smoke marijuana. He
Oh, I'm
smoked
sorry to hear
cigarettes,
that.
but
All right,
he
it
wouldn't
happens.
touch grass. After a couple films, I found out he smoked grass.
I'm sorry to
which
hear
is
that.
cool. I did too. So there's no big deal. And then he started drinking. He never drank before.
John was having the time of his life. His wife, Sharon, wasn't. She didn't like the porn business and she didn't like the drugs. The stress made her sick.
I told him, I said, I can't accept this. What you are doing is making me ill. And I can't compromise. I won't compromise. I'll be your friend. I'll be your companion. I'll be everything but your lover.
But John refused to give up porn. Holmes was addicted to the money, sex, and adulation. He began to think of himself as Johnny Wad, the generous stud who protected the innocent from evil.
John had a very strange ego.
He was a fucking jerk off. I mean, really. He chose porn over his wife. Who even said, I'll stand by you, I'll be your partner, but I'm not having sex with you. I mean, man, you gotta feel bad for her. She had to have had self-esteem issues to put up with that. There's no way I'd put up with that. No fucking
He needed to
way.
be constantly buoyed up because of his insecurities, of his own personality.
Holmes created a romantic fictional past.
Hey,
The following is an excerpt
It,
from a
they
1982
wasn't
interview
moral
with
laws,
Holmes.
it's obscenity laws.
UCLA.
Well, yeah, obscenity.
And
Yeah, but then obscenity
I know.
law is basically
I was looking it up because I wanted to know the history, and it's March
Yeah,
3rd,
obscenity.
1873. They created it for the act of suppression in trade and circulation of obscene literature and articles of immoral use. Today, the only thing that would count underneath that would be CP, according to the Miller test and Supreme Court rulings,
Okay, yeah, that's why porn is
which is
able to
good.
be made and distributed.
I don't know. I don't know if some of the more extreme, like I think the shitting and some of the crazy crap that's on there, like people used to porn on people with, I think that would meet the obscene test, but apparently not.
Yeah.
Apparently golden showers and all that's okay. Fucking disgusting. But at least that they fucking aren't trying to allow. After my search was saying that people were saying some people were an AI generated will count as well under obscene. They said, well, fucking one weird motherfucker said, well, wouldn't AI generated see you know what help actually reduce actual see you know what and therefore be good? No, no, no. None of it's good. I wish I knew who fucking made that comment. I'd make him famous. Oh my god. Sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to fucking clarify you in case you wanted to understand more about it too. That's all I'm saying.
No, yeah, like I said,
That's why the pornography was challenged at first because of that
I don't know how
1800 law.
many. I don't know how many. I don't know. I figured they changed the laws. I figured they usually do over time. Usually. All right, well, let's get back into it, shall we? Let's get back into our scheduled program.
Sorry if I'm being a little distracting.
Starving to death.
What were you taking?
Graduate physical therapist in pediatrics, what I wound up being.
Former porn producer Julia St. Vincent.
He lied about everything he said. I mean, he was nothing but a complete liar most of the time. His feelings were a lie. What he said to people where he had been was a lie.
Writer Mike Sager.
There are really two John Holmeses, the one that he had manufactured and told the story.
Grandpa, what are you
Living a
watching?
privileged childhood, losing his virginity to his French
Tubi.
nanny.
In 1975, Sharon was offered the chance to manage an apartment complex in Glendale,
Got 2
100
Labradors
miles
on
from
you?
downtown Los Angeles. Sharon and John moved into a house on the property. A year
I'll
later,
go get
Bill
it.
Schiller,
Get
his
'em if
son
you
and
got
2
2 in
daughters,
there.
moved into the building. Dawn, the oldest daughter, appears in silhouette to protect her identity.
When we were introduced, he kind of just looked me down and went, And I said, what? And he said,
You got what?
too young. And he turned around and walked out the door. And that kind of really pissed me off, initially, but it did make me notice him.
I didn't take 2 yesterday.
On one occasion, Holmes took her to see a Johnny Wad flick.
We were seated, and everybody who worked there made their turn walking past us at the aisle. And then when the first shots of him being naked showed up on the screen, I started laughing, and he nudged me in my ribs, and then he started laughing.
You only
And the both
got
of us
2
just
in your
giggled like
front
little
left
kids,
pocket.
and that's pretty much how he broke me into the world, understanding the world of porno.
I started saying there's only
John's
2.
wife Sharon was oblivious to the affair.
He put up a real big wall regarding Sharon. Basically, he made her unapproachable.
Yeah, this was the 13-year-old girl that he groomed and beat, and you'll hear all about it. It's pretty bad stuff. So viewer discretion advised.
To me.
In
But you're already warned
1977,
about on this
Dawn's
cast,
father
viewer
left
discretion.
California. He sent Dawn's brother and sister to live with their mother. But Dawn stayed in Glendale. Holmes had her all to himself. By this time, Holmes was completely immersed in the porn business.
He had like standing offers for people in Hollywood where they'd say, we'll give you $1,000 to do a video a day. So we got to that point, and I think at that point,
that was a lot of money in
was
the
bored.
70s.
And
$1,000
that
was a
boredom
lot of money.
eventually led him to drugs.
Slowly, the cocaine started coming into the picture. He would dish out a few lines, and we'd stay up.
$1,000 was a lot of money in the 70s. A lot of money. So
all night and
downfall.
walk the streets or something, or go camping and then come back.
As the couple's cocaine use escalated, Dawn and John would go to Hollywood clubs to score drugs. This soon led to a meeting with one of Hollywood's most powerful men, club owner Adel Nasrallah, also known as Eddie Nash.
Eddie Nash.
Yeah, that's his name. Adel Nasrallah. That was his name. He's like an Israeli guy. But everybody called him like Eddie Nash. Yeah, he was the man. He was the man in LA at that time.
Nash was the godfather of Hollywood. He was a Palestinian national
Oh,
who
Palestinian,
moved to
sorry.
LA in the 50s. And by the
Palestinian,
60s, he
my
had a
bad.
hot dog stand on Hollywood Boulevard. He quickly went from a hot dog stand on Hollywood Boulevard to owning all these nightclubs, gay nightclubs, black nightclubs, strip bars. He really controlled nightclub life in Hollywood.
Eddie was a big-time club owner who lived a big-time drug-doing life, just as you imagine. Girls in the house.
He was the original
lots of
Scarface.
sex, lots of people coming and going. The Hollywood lifestyle of the drug era.
Nash ran his drug operation out of his Hollywood home. One of Nash's customers was Scott Torson, the former lover of entertainer Liberace.
It was just incredible. I mean, it was just a rotating door that never stopped. People in and out of all hours of the night. Probably 50, 70 different people. Just in and out, in and out. Money, drugs, money, drugs, money, drugs, money, drugs. Heroin, cocaine. It was just an incredible scene. It was something like out of Scarface.
A scene complete with a well-armed 300-pound bodyguard named Greg Dials. Holmes and Nash quickly became friends and business associates. Nash had drugs and John had celebrity appeal.
And I think Eddie Nash was a fan of John's. John had cachet because he was the king of porn and famous, you know. And if you're a drug dealing godfather of Hollywood nightclub life, you want a guy like John Holmes, or you know, everybody's interested in him. You know, hey, here's my friend John Holmes.
There was just one problem. Holmes was addicted to coke. Before long, he was in debt to Nash. And that debt would one day lead to murder. By 1979, John Holmes was not just abusing coke, he was selling it. And soon his young girlfriend, Dawn, was involved.
Then at one point, I started weighing the cocaine for him and breaking them down into grams, you know, making the little gram packets.
In 1980, Eddie Nash became addicted to a form of cocaine known as freebase. Author Niles B. Gravilius.
I've interviewed numerous drug addicts. Many of them describe becoming addicted to base cocaine or crack cocaine with the first hit or the first use. And then the euphoria is never the same again thereafter. They're constantly chasing the first high that they ever obtained from that drug.
Nash became
Damn. So it's that powerful. Smoking cocaine like that is that powerful. Damn. I mean, I heard it was bad.
What'd you find out? What'd
Oh,
you
they were
find
talking
out?
about
I'm
how-
sorry, I dropped off.
It was just talking about how freebasing cocaine, like he's talked to people that's smoking it one time and the euphoria, they chase it the rest of their lives, basically. And I'm just thinking, wow, what a
Damn.
fucking drug. Take it one
I guess my
one time. Crazy.
my article was right then that I shared
So
with you.
addicted to
Yeah, that's crazy.
the drug that he
That's
began
crazy.
to isolate himself in his house.
Crazy.
Scott Torson, Liberace's former lover, was one of Nash's customers.
He'd never go to his clubs.
Liberace.
The money was brought to him.
Yep.
The drugs were brought to him. He conducted everything out of his bedroom and the telephone.
Oh, that makes it easy
Soon
to
John
bet.
Holmes was freebasing as well. Holmes often dragged his girlfriend Dawn along to Nash's house.
Dude, this motherfucker, Chris, I don't know if you heard, he didn't get busted till 2000. So he was a drug dealer. Like he got busted for RICO in 2000. So he had a good long crime run from the 70s until 2000 when they busted him.
Bubble. Now I get why they got to use those glass. Now I get why it's a glass pipe or bubble like that. Because if it's not, kind of smoke better, lose a lot of it and everything. That's why they need that glass bubble.
Yeah, I don't know.
John used to
I got it.
wait in the car.
Oh yeah, and fair use. This video is for educational purposes only. We're learning about the Wonderland murders as well as the effects of drug addiction.
You know, he basically treated her like
Do
a
not
dog.
try this at
And he'd
home.
go in and use freebase
Yeah, don't.
cocaine with
I do not
Eddie
encourage
Nash
any of
for
the activities you
literally
are
days
seeing.
on end.
He would come out and
I don't encourage
pretend to
porn.
get
I don't
something from the
encourage drug
car
use.
and
I don't
drop me a
encourage
rock
porn.
or two to keep me going while I was in the car.
No. It leads to deviance.
John carried around
That's what
a
porn
briefcase
does.
with butane torches and cocaine and all his paraphernalia so he could freebase
Oh,
wherever he
shit.
went. So, you know, when you're doing that, you know, when you have a little briefcase that you carry everywhere with you with your freebase pipes, you know, you're in it pretty seriously.
Wow.
John's habits started to affect his work.
That is true. When you're carrying around a briefcase with butane and a fucking pipe, you got issues. You got fucking issues.
That's like Hunter Thompson. Or if you're Hunter Thompson, it's just a trip. It's just a trip to Las Vegas, fear and love. You know what I mean?
Oh, that was
you remember he had the suitcase.
The toilet guy said he was going to
shaker
report
cocaine.
Hunter Thompson. That was some shit.
Was usually loaded. So he'd come in. I don't know if he was on Quaaludes or Coke or whatever it was.
Former porn actress Sharon Mitchell recalls Holmes' behavior.
John was like one of the main stars of the movie, and we had been shooting everything but his scene because we couldn't. He was in the closet getting high. He had been in the closet getting loaded all day long, and was just terrified and just hiding and just in a real paranoid state. And that's when the seriousness of his addiction kind of affected me.
The drug sapped John's strength and his desire for sex.
And suddenly he can't maintain an erection because of his drug addiction, you're not going to have a career. I mean, that's why
No,
they're
you're not
hiring
going to be
you.
a porn
You know,
star.
you either can get it up or you can't.
Yeah, that's kind of the main part of your
Unable to
fucking
perform,
career.
John was blacklisted from the adult film business, but he needed money to feed his habit.
He was starting to steal big things from the house. Half of my heritage from my grandparents disappeared.
Remember how I was talking about in that interview that we watched of Holmes? I said this is before he descended into junkiism. Now he's into being a junkie. He's stealing. He's a junkie at this point. At the time of the murders, John Holmes was a fucking junkie.
And I took to hiding things in strange places, you know, like pockets and coats and that kind of thing. And darned if you wouldn't find them.
In 1980,
Sad.
adult film star Gloria Leonard and
So
her husband
sad.
learned firsthand about Holmes' desperation.
Yeah, it is.
We stupidly made the mistake of telling him that we wouldn't be home till noon because we had a chore to do in the morning. When we did get home at noon, our house was emptied of everything. Not only all of our valuables, electronic equipment and jewelry, but virtually everything that looked like it could be worth more than $3 or $4. The toaster, the iron,
That's a junkie.
the hair dryer.
That's a fucking
Oh,
junkie
yeah.
move. Stealing hair dryers and
Bruh,
toasters and shit.
I'm
That's a
surprised he didn't.
That's a junkie.
I'm surprised he didn't get the fucking copper or shit out of the fucking sinks and shit
right.
and underneath.
Drugs made Holmes
You know,
Probably would have if he could have. Probably
It
would have.
started off with, you know, backhand shots while we were driving.
everything but
Accusations
the
of I only
kitchen
wanted the
sink,
drug. I didn't
literally.
love him anymore. I just wanted the drug.
Yep.
And of course, I would deny it and I would cry.
John's
Wait,
world was
is this the girl?
Yes.
Is
And
this the
again,
girl?
let me remind you. Yes. Yes. That is, again, let me remind all of you.
Holy shit.
The girl talking about how he would backhand her, she was 15 years old. 13, 14 years old at the time.
And he
She was
started on her at 13.
Yeah, she was a
This
child.
dude's a fucking pedo.
Yeah, she was a child. She's
Pedo.
talking about how he hit her, how he forced her to sleep with men. She was a child, a fucking kid, a little girl.
desperate
Little
for money.
fucking
He
girl.
exploited his one asset. John began hanging out in gay
I'm gonna slap the
nightclubs.
shit out of him.
A lot of gay men were
Yeah,
attracted to John Holmes because he had a 13-inch penis and they wanted to hang out with him and give him cocaine and hopefully they could sleep with him. And I'm sure if you gave John Holmes enough cocaine, you could sleep with him.
Holmes not only prostituted himself, but Dawn as well.
He ended up beating me so bad a bunch of times in order to get me
That
out. And doing tricks.
15-year-old little
He
girl.
taught me what to do. He told me what to say. He told me what to be careful of. He told me how much. And then after I was done, I'd come back and give him the money, and he'd beat the crap out of me. Afterwards, I'd come back and he'd put me in the bathtub and just scrub me with boiling hot water, just scalding water, and scrub me down.
Oh,
Though John tried to keep the cash flowing to
A
feed his
little
habit,
fucking
sick
girl.
he often fell
motherfucker,
short.
man.
His good friend
Little
Eddie
girl.
Sick
Mack
motherfucker.
sold Holmes cocaine
Using her
on
like a
credit,
fucking,
which John
like some
quickly
kind
used
of
up.
cash
John
cow.
became so
Fucking
desperate he
piece of
sold
shit.
Dawn to Nash. 1 week after that,
Yep.
John sold Dawn to a female pimp who ran a brothel in the valley.
He treated her like
And
property.
again,
Like
yeah,
you
and
would, like
again,
you
let
would
me
a
remind
slave,
you.
like back in the fucking old days, them motherfuckers, dude.
Yeah.
This dude's fucking a menace.
Yeah, this is a child. We're not talking about an adult. This is a little girl that he's
He's not
doing
a
this
child.
to.
He's a fucking demon. He's a fucking low end demon. He's not a demon, but he's like a fucking meat. He's a meat caveman hominid demon. What the fuck he
He
is?
deserved it. Honestly, he deserved to have been convicted of those murders and locked up in prison is what he deserved.
And finally realizes
Fuck yeah,
this is a bad scene. And John's beating her.
And if
But you
only
know,
the other
karma
had
got
been
him.
exposed too, he would have got prison. He would have got prison justice though if the other exposed him. Yeah, at least he did get AIDS. That's what he fucking deserved.
Karma got him.
Piece of shit.
Karma got him horribly. He died 6 years later. Karma got his bitch ass. Karma got his
That
bitch
woman's
ass.
lucky. That woman's
And I'm
lucky
sure
she didn't get anything from him.
Right?
She's lucky. Like,
Not
he's
to
a fucking
mention,
survivor.
well, he got AIDS after she left him. Like she escaped.
I know,
She
that's what
ran
I'm
away.
saying. So, like,
Yeah.
thank God for that. Because if not, she
Think
would have
about all the
fucking been sentenced to that same shit.
think about all the female porn stars he fucked. All the innocent people. But he got AIDS after he went into gay porn.
Hopefully he didn't spread it too much. Fucking
Well,
sick
I think they found
motherfucker.
out. Like, I think they talk about it in this documentary, how it was rumored in the gay porn industry that Holmes had, AIDS, I guess.
All the time.
He was doing gay porn. He wasn't doing just straight porn. He was doing gay porn.
Oh, you'll hear about it. You'll
He
hear
did
about
gay
it. Just listen. You'll hear.
Oh
Just listen.
my God.
You'll hear. Like I said, this story, he's a horrible person. You'll hear. Just listen.
And she finally runs back home to, I believe it's some in the Northwest. And she runs back to her mother.
She ran away.
She's finally away from John.
John called Dawn constantly, begging her to return. She refused. Without Dawn and in debt to Nash, John needed a new source for money and drugs.
He was taking to stealing
Fuck him, what he needs.
conveyor belt.
He don't need it. He thinks he
Los Angeles
he
International
wants it.
Airport in order to support his drug habit.
January 1981, John was arrested while stealing a computer from a car. He was released on bail. To make matters worse, Nash cut off John's drug supply. Holmes' search for new drug connection led him to 8763 Wonderland Avenue and 43-year-old Joy Miller.
No.
Basically, Joy Miller was this affluent woman who became a heroin addict and, took the long slug.
Now you're going to hear about the victims, which, like I said, they're victims.
A fucking sociopath. So this sociopath rightly gets cut off from his supply. And what he does is he leads his and his fucking leeching, fucked up, low down ways, fucking child raping ways, goes to this fucking house, and little did this woman and the rest of these people know that their life was about to change for the fucking worst. I mean, don't get me wrong. They were criminals. They were criminals, but they did not deserve the fate.
They weren't the best people either.
But John Holmes literally, I realize that, and they probably may deserve some jail, maybe some prison, but I don't think they deserve this. And I think that John brought it to them.
Junkie. I don't think they realized the junkie trouble they were going to get into because of the junkie. I don't think they realized the trouble they were going to get into because
not at all.
They had their own. They were their own little badass crew, right? They were their own little. Nobody fucked with them. They'd punch you. They'd shoot. They weren't. It wasn't like a bunch of partiers.
Look,
I mean,
I'm not gonna get into it too much because people would try to use it against me some way or twist it. But I'll put it like this: when I was in active addiction, when I was in my active addiction, I would spend when I never, ever went and stole any item at all. What I did was I got
you were
rid
an
of.
addict. You were a junkie.
I got
You were
rid-
an addict. There's a difference.
Yeah,
There's a
I
difference
didn't fucking go. Now I know people that did take like fucking shit from their grandparents' house or their mother's house or what have you, their cousin's house.
Beyond addiction. That's different. That's beyond.
I never did that, but what I did do was I lied about my reason for money when I asked for it. So
deceptive behavior. A lot of addicts have deceptive behavior.
I was still wrong, but and that's most of what I'm going to share. But other than that, I never though. Even when I was really, really down bad, I would go and beg and be honest about what I needed it for before I would ever risk causing problems because I seen what it did. Like I grew up young and watched somebody older than me go through it, But that still couldn't keep me from it. Like I remember in 5th grade saying that I'm never going to smoke, I'm never going to drink. And a girl turned around and looked at me and she said, never say never.
And I mean, she was right. I mean,
Right. All right. Well, let's continue. You're gonna hear about. We're gonna get into it.
yeah, my bad. I'm not trying to put it on me, but yeah, that's. I'm glad you distinguished that.
And she used her house on Wonderland Avenue to basically support this gang of heroin addicts.
The house was greenish stucco with a staircase outside encased in iron, and you had to push a button to get in. People would come and go from the house day and night. Again, that balcony came into play. They would just throw the drugs down and the money up.
And basically, the Wonderland Avenue gang were a bunch of dope house ripoffs. They would get police badges and go rip off drug dealers, and then they would sell the drugs.
Yeah, see, they weren't good
So that's
people.
what they were known for.
The drug gang included Miller's boyfriend, 43-year-old Bill Deverell, a crane operator from Los Angeles.
No, I would never defend
34-year-old
that.
David Lynn, 36-year-old Ron Lanius, and
Okay, this guy. I'll go back 5 seconds. Not this guy. Come on, let me push play.
from Los Angeles. 34.
This guy actually testified.
But because of
I
home,
don't think he wasn't killed. This guy, I think this is the guy that was like associated with the biker club in LA, and he was out of town. But his girlfriend is one of the victims. His girlfriend, who had never been to the house, he showed up to visit. She was there. He was out of town. She got killed, and I think he testified against Holmes, and he's in Witsack, I believe. I think he ended up being in Witsack later on.
what from what I believe, what I put together was that because of Holmes' frenzy for the drugs, he indirectly, led them to somebody he knew probably in his right mind is not to be messed with, shouldn't betray them and leave the door open or any of that stuff. But that's what, when you're not in your right mind, that's the type of shit, that you can spiral down to and do. That's
Holmes
what
was a
addiction
selfish piece of shit. So Holmes was a selfish piece of shit. He knew goddamn well Eddie Nash was probably going to find out. He knew goddamn well the kind of person Eddie Nash was, and he did it anyways. He didn't
because he didn't go through no logical thinking, and if he started to, he just the dope sickness came over him.
The dumb fuck was wearing jewelry stolen from Eddie Nash's house when he was picked up by Eddie Nash's people.
Oh God,
the dumb bastard!
God.
He had on a ring that was stolen from Eddie Nash's house. The dumb bitch. I mean, how fucking stupid are you? How dumb.
I'm surprised Eddie Nash didn't have his finger chopped off.
I'm surprised Eddie Nash didn't fucking kill him. I'm surprised he didn't kill everybody in the house and then kill Holmes right along with them. I'm surprised. I have no idea how John Holmes
he may have had not caused any of that extra heat to come on him, which ultimately led to his downfall in the early 2000s.
Well, the way
I mean, I know he didn't get in trouble for the murders, but he was questioned and arrested for it.
I'm just saying, if it had been me, I would have killed Holmes. I would have been like, kill everybody in the house, then drop Holmes right there where he stands. Leave him in the house as well. No joke. If it had been me, I don't know why Eddie Nash didn't.
Well,
I really don't.
No, they did try Eddie Nash for the murder? We found out, right? They did end up trying him, but
and he was acquitted. He was acquitted like by a hung juror. One juror held up all of it. Just one.
So how did Holmes only have one?
No, Eddie Nash's trial, one juror held it up and was a hung juror, so he was never. He had hung jury. Nobody would acquit him.
But what
like he had one juror. Everybody wanted to find him guilty, but one juror.
But was that the same case with Holmes, though?
The Eddie Nash case. The Eddie Nash case came later. Like they tried him later on, but he had a hung jury.
It was in the 90s.
They all wanted to, in the 90s, they all wanted to convict him, but one juror. The Holmes case, I'm not sure. We'll find out. I'm sure they're going to talk about it. His trial.
Okay, my bad.
What the jury was, I'm sure. We'll get into it.
36-year-old Ron Lanius and 39-year-old Tracy Ray McCourt. Holmes befriended the gang, but the hardcore criminals were not impressed by the fallen porn star.
And they're basically think he's a joke, and they're making fun of him, and they're, making him whip out his penis, as a novelty.
Yeah, they didn't like Holmes.
They think this guy's a jerk,
He was a
but they keep him
junkie.
around, as this kind of pet.
In early 1981,
Yeah, they weren't friends with him. They didn't like him. He was a sideshow act. Oh, look, we got this famous guy, John Holmes, the porn star. Look, hey, John, show your dick.
They're basically like, it was basically like, this guy's got the biggest dick, so naturally,
name
but
recognition.
we got to
Clout.
put up with it.
Clout. No, they used him for clout. Oh, yeah, we're friends with John Holmes. They used him for clout. Clout. He's like that celebrity that comes over that nobody likes, but they keep him around because he's a celebrity. That's what it was. Good morning, Lance. Good to see you, sir. How are you? Hey, we're going to be doing some cooking next week, my friend. We got cookies to make. My daughter's graduation. I'm going to make some what I call Elmo cookies, but they're just going to be red velvet cookies because her school colors are
Make some oatmeal.
So
Make some chocolate oatmeal. Oh, I am dying for some chocolate oatmeal cookies.
So we're going to have some bacon and some cooking to do this week, later on in the week. Scheduled on my show. I got graduation stuff to get ready for. Yes, I'm going to be. And I think I'm even going to make my red fudge for her graduation. I think I'm going to make a batch of that and set it out, as a dessert with the cake and stuff. So, yeah, I'm going to be doing that. We're doing some Wonderland. John Holmes, the Wonderland murders. The 70s, 80s fucking porn guy and all his bullshit. He really was a scumbag, Lance. He really was. Fucking John Holmes, goddamn scumbag. A scumbag. Real villain. I consider him a villain. Like, he really was a villain. He's not like your top tier super villain, but he's definitely a villain. Definitely.
Ron was given one last chance to work in his chosen profession. Former girlfriend Julia St. Vincent hoped that John's comeback film, Exhausted, would save her production company from bankruptcy.
He was very difficult. We set a shoot up with about 25 crew members. He comes in late. He's a complete mess. We put him into makeup. He's franting and, flipping out.
Oh, and real quick, I want to thank all the supporters that sent her graduation cards. Thank you so much. That was so kind of you. I greatly appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. So I'm going to get that out there real quick. So thank you guys. Much, much appreciated.
That was
about
nice.
Everything that we wanted.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Lance.
And one more quick reminder. If you didn't do it, tomorrow's Mother's Day. You better be getting your mother something. You better be calling her. And tomorrow I'm going to remind you. Call your fucking moms. Give your mother a call. You better have gotten her something nice. No. So
Yeah, if you have your mom especially, you better. Trust me. Cherish it while you still have it.
Yeah, I better be calling your mother's tomorrow. I better do something nice for her.
He was totally incapable of working. But the producer had spent about $3,000 to secure this location. He was by the phone the whole time, waiting for a call. When the call came, he says, I have to leave just for 15 minutes. I'll be back in 15 minutes. I've just got to go to a place nearby.
God,
It's on Wonderland.
He did everything wrong. He did everything wrong in this fucking case, this keeper. Everything wrong. Okay, he did everything wrong. Like, it was blatantly obvious that it was him with Eddie Nash. It was blatantly obvious that he left the door open. I mean, God, how dumb. Really is the dumbest motherfucker on the planet. Dumb. Dumb.
John
Get
Holmes hit
killed is
rock bottom in 1981.
I really am that.
Although his girlfriend had returned, his dealer had cut him off. His new drug connection mocked and ridiculed him, and his comeback sex film was a disaster.
Aw,
John
poor
thought he had
Holmes.
fallen as far as
Poor
he could.
John. He's ridiculed. Poor guy.
He was wrong.
Aw, poor guy.
While freebasing with Ron Lanius, Bill
Gonna have to do
Deverell,
a nice
David Lind, and Tracy Ray McCord, Holmes laid out his plan for a score. It was a simple robbery. The victim, drug dealer Eddie Nash. On June the 28th, 1981, Holmes went to Nash's house on the pretense of scoring some coke.
John goes there, spends a night freebasing cocaine with Eddie Nash, and before he leaves the sliding glass door open so the gang can come to the house and go in through the sliding glass door and hold Eddie Nash up, basically.
At 5 a.m., John returned to Wonderland, expecting the crew to immediately leave for Nash's, but they were too doped up to do anything but sleep. Finally, at 8 a.m., the gang got their act together and left for Eddie Nash's house. The drive lasted 10 minutes. The group entered Nash's house using the back door home.
You know, if you think about it, I don't know how smart that would have been. John Holmes leaves, shows up at Wonderland, then Eddie Nash gets hit, 10, 20 minutes later. That would have been kind of blatantly obvious. So it might have been a good thing. I mean, either way they got caught, but it might have been a good thing that they didn't hit it right away. I don't know. What do you guys think? Possibly?
It left open.
I don't know.
And they have San Francisco police badges, which they flash. And
hold on. Is this the beginning of the robbery of Nash's?
Yes. I'll go back 5 seconds so you can hear
Can you go
what
back
they say. Okay, so they drive 10
maybe
minutes.
can you go back maybe just
I got
30 seconds, please? Just maybe 30. And
Yes. Okay.
that should be
So
enough. Thank you.
here's what happens. They're driving like 10 minutes. Okay. So here
I
we
got a
go.
little distracted.
It's all right. Here we go.
Hold Eddie Nash up, basically.
At 5 a.m., John returned to Wonderland, expecting the crew to immediately leave for Nash's, but they were too doped up to do anything but sleep. Finally, at 8 a.m., the gang got their act together and left for Eddie Nash's house. The drive lasted 10 minutes. The group entered Nash's house using the back door Holmes had left open.
And they have San Francisco police badges, which they flash. And they say, this is a bust, you're under arrest, And they quickly tie up Eddie Nash.
Nash led the robbers to his secret stash.
They found the safe where the $100,000 worth of cocaine and a vial of pure heroin was, and about $100,000 in jewelry.
What a
and
score.
cash.
What a
And they
score.
really got off with a big score.
What a
Within
score.
20 minutes, the thieves were on their way back to
Now,
Wonderland.
I mean, what a fucking
Pure-
score, right?
Can you imagine
Yeah.
pure fucking heroin, a vial of it?
I mean,
You could
these guys got a score.
They could have diluted that. Do you realize
Too
how
bad it
much they
cost
could
them
have
your
made?
life.
Do you realize how much
Too bad
they
it
could
fucked
have
them.
made last
Yeah.
longer if they were going to use it, if they just diluted it? Holy
Like I said,
shit. Pure
it was a
vial of
hell of a
fucking
score.
heroin.
It was a hell of a score.
And what they say, $1 million in
Hell
cocaine?
of a score.
And just 1 mile away.
Hey,
$100,000 in cocaine, heroin, $100,000 in jewels.
will
So
you
they got about
say it one more
$200,000,
time?
$300,000.
You can say it once more.
They got about
please.
$300,000, I think, total between the drugs and jewelry. All right.
$1,000 in jewelry and cash. And they really got off with a big score.
Yeah.
Within 20 minutes, the thieves were on their way back to
Oh,
Wonderland,
yeah.
just 1 mile away.
They only made one mistake. They didn't kill Eddie Nash and Gregory Giles. They let them live.
That was
At
the
Wonderland,
mistake.
the route was divided,
Did they
with
have,
John receiving
did they have
far
a
less than he
mask
thought
on?
he deserved.
And I think Holmes is a
No, they didn't have any mask on. No.
Oh,
They came in
wow.
pretending to be sheriffs. No.
Wow. That ain't going to
extremely
fly.
upset because he set up this thing and he finds out that they, got $100,000 worth of coke, and here he's just got a few
Hey,
grams
Jacob.
from it.
Holmes took what the
Yeah, so Holmes didn't get very much of anything, and he was pissed. He's all like, fuck them, he's all angry because he set up the score. He didn't get shit.
What
Maybe,
they
like,
actually give you?
I don't know.
Can,
I don't know what they
did we
gave
just
him. I don't
get that?
remember. No, they
I
didn't say
think
what they
it's
gave him. He
it's
just
just
got.
that
We can go back. He just got a little bit. He didn't get a whole bunch of shit. They got
I think that
$200,000, and Holmes got like probably a couple grams, maybe 50,000. I don't even think he got 50,000 in drugs. I don't know. We'll
they
find
say
out.
an
I think
amount.
Holmes is extremely upset.
Okay, we'll go back.
Here, no,
Go
here it
back.
is. Here it is. No, no, that's it
There.
right there.
Back to Wonderland, just 1 mile away.
They only made one
That's what I'm-
mistake. They didn't kill Eddie Nash and Gregory Dolls. They let them live.
At Wonderland, the loot was divided, with John
Right
receiving
here.
far less than he thought he deserved.
And I think Holmes is extremely upset because he set up this thing and he finds out that they, got $100,000 worth of coke, and here he's just got a few grams from it.
A few grams.
Holmes took what little
Yeah,
was offered
gave him a
Wow.
few
and bet up his
grams.
stall in the San
Yeah.
Fernando Valley.
Holy shit.
He came up into the apartment. Of course, we went into the bathroom again, and he uncovered one of the largest piles of cocaine I'd ever seen. He was very
They
high,
should.
very haggard
They
looking
should.
again, but very, very high. And he started dishing
They
out the
sh-
cocaine like nothing happened,
Can,
like nothing changed.
can you pause a second?
Later
They
that
should not have
morning,
labeled
Nash and his
her
bodyguard
former girlfriend. I hate to say it.
Because
They
she
should have
was
labeled her former survivor.
former
Well,
victim.
once
Former victim.
technically, yeah,
Victim.
yeah, once she was of age or what
Victim.
have you, but she wasn't when he started.
No,
Yeah,
victim.
that's
John Holmes
Jacob
is the porn king.
Wonderland Murders.
You know John
Um,
Holmes? Remember, the big breakthrough porn from the 70s, Deep Throat? John Holmes,
I
the
put it in
porn
the chat
king.
for them if they
He
want
was
to Google it.
basically Ron Jeremy before Ron Jeremy. I mean, he was it of the porn industry back in the 70s. Real scumbag, this guy. Real scumbag. And I'm so glad
You,
you're safe, Sasquatch. I'm so glad Bigfoot did not get you. Good to see you this morning, sir. How was your kayaking? I was checking in on you off and on yesterday, making sure Bigfoot didn't get you after that terrifying story we heard from Peter about
there you
Sasquatch
guys go.
holding him.
There's a little thing on
Yeah, John
the
Holmes
murders.
is Deep Throat. He is. No, not Deep Throat Nixon. You're thinking Nixon. No. That's different. John Deep Throat is a porn movie. Okay, Deep Throat's a porn movie. It's also the name of the whistleblower in the Nixon hearing. I'm talking about the porn thing, not the political thing. Yeah. When you said I remember, I was like, no. You're thinking of Nixon. No. This is the porn king, John Holmes, the Wonderland murders in California. There in Benedict Canyon in LA in 1981. They robbed the drug dealer Eddie Nash, and Eddie Nash went to work. John Holmes was the only one tried, acquitted, died of AIDS 6 years later because he went into gay porn. It's a crazy story, and we're like halfway through it. Right now in the story, we're at the end of John Holmes' descend into madness. Okay, like he already fucked up his porn career because of cocaine, because he couldn't function because of coke. Because he now we're at the point where John Holmes is a junkie. He's robbing everybody. He's doing scumbag shits. He was sleeping with a 13-year-old girl, and I think she's like 14, right? In at this time of the story, she's like 14, I think 15 at this time. Was pimping her out, beating her, all because of drugs, coke, all because he was a fucking junkie. And now he set up to have these drug dealers rob this other drug dealer. And the drug dealer they robbed is a gangster, not like a mafia guy, but like he's a gangster. He'll fucking kill you. Like he'll kill you. He's a powerful guy, not somebody you fuck with. And you're going to see what happens when you fuck with Eddie Nash. This is the part we're at.
Right now.
God freed themselves.
Eddie Nash was, again, a big drug doer. He was a Palestinian with a lot of pride.
And pissed as a
He
motherfucker.
was kind of
He
a
was
godfather of his own world. And he was incensed. Anyone is incensed when a robber comes in, but he was particularly incensed.
He was a Palestinian.
Liberace's lover, Scott Torson,
Yeah.
often traded Liberace's personal belongings for freebase, He claims to have been at Nash's house on the day of the robbery.
He was very angry, and he told me that he had been robbed. And he had sent dials out because they found out that John Holmes had set the robbery up.
That same evening, Nash's men tracked Holmes down. Torson was still at Nash's when John was dragged in.
The next thing I know is that Dials had barged in the front door with Holmes by the back of the neck, marched him right into Nash's bedroom. And that's when I was asked to leave. And
he's like, you don't have time for you to get the
went
fuck
into
out.
the living room.
Time for you to get it, sir.
And I could
You need to
actually
go.
hear.
Yeah, I didn't see nothing.
Nash had a violent temper. He was screaming.
I ain't
He was
see
threatening to
shit.
kill John. He was threatening.
Liberace's boyfriend's like, I don't know nothing. Time for me to go. I get this
No,
shit, I'm out.
Nash is like, he's like, do you
Time
want
for you
me
to go,
Nash?
motherfucker.
That
Time for
depends.
you to go.
Can,
He's
he
like,
said-
get the
he
fuck
said-
out.
No, he said this. He goes, that depends. Do you see me? And if he says yes, he's dead.
Time to go.
No, I don't see shit.
Like, it's obvious
I'm
it's time for me
blind.
to leave.
Kill every member of his
I lost
family.
my
Right, I'm
vision
pissed.
earlier.
Dials was
I
beating the
lost
hell
my
out of him.
vision.
He was slamming his body.
Yeah, did you hear that? His bodyguard was
And
beating
I
the
got
fuck
a-
out of John Holmes.
And I
And the
got a
same
hearing
bodyguard that got
problem,
shot.
too.
I think it's the same guard that got shot, that they shot. He's beating the fuck out of John Holmes. He was pissed.
Dials
That's pissed.
was beating the hell out of him. He was slamming his body. You know, you could hear the furniture. You could actually hear him slamming him up against the walls.
An hour later, Holmes was led out of the bedroom.
Dials had him by the back of the neck, escorting him out. And Dials had a big, I don't know if it was a bat or a pipe in his hand.
Oh, shit.
Dials allegedly borrowed Torson's car and drove over to the Wonderland residence with Holmes and two other men. It was now approximately 4 a.m. on July the 1st, 1981.
John punched in the security code.
Again, viewer discretion advised. We're now getting into the murders, and they are very graphic and very brutal.
And they said, who is it? And he said, it's John Holmes. And they let him in. They weren't suspicious at all. They were really not suspecting that they were going to be attacked.
Nope.
But they were attacked. Linda McCourt weren't home. McCourt was staying at his own place, and Lynn was on his way to appear before a Sacramento court. Barbara Richardson was watching television when the attackers entered. Unlike the others in the house, Richardson was not a drug dealer. She was there to visit David Lind. The
He
three
wasn't even
killers
from the
carried
house.
metal pipes, beat Richardson to death, then attacked Joy Miller and Billy Deverell, who were asleep in their bedroom. Finally, they set on Ron Lanius and his wife Susan down from Sacramento to visit her estranged husband.
Yeah, she didn't even live there. She's the only one that survived. She didn't even live in the house. So two of the victims didn't even live there. They were just wrong place, wrong time. Wrong place.
As the killers moved through the house, they left in their wake a river of blood. Neighbors later reported hearing screams, but they chalked up the noise to normal drug-dealing activities.
Huh. Normal drug dealing screams.
It's very telling of the nature of Los Angeles and its people, at least its upscale people at the time, that when the screams were heard from the Wonderland house, that some of the neighbors reported later thinking that it was just primal scream therapy and not anything to do with crime.
The beatings lasted well over
Yeah, screaming in Benedict Canyon's normal. Yeah, I don't mind the screaming. Don't mind it.
an hour.
There's
The
something
killers
called
left only when
screaming
they felt
therapy.
certain that everyone was dead.
What the hell?
Yeah, there was a lot of weird shit in the 70s.
Screaming
Holistic
therapy.
therapies, like
There's
Jeffrey
nothing wrong with
Dahmer
holistic.
needed.
There's nothing wrong with holistic stuff. But
Well, I'm
fucking,
not
that's
saying
a
there
little
is,
too
but
far.
you think about the 70s. It was the height of a lot of mystic, a lot of
What did you say about Dahmer?
different shit.
What
Dahmer
do?
listened to the sounds of whales at night on a tape
Oh yeah,
recorder
they
every
helped
night.
him. They helped him sleep. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember.
so I mean, they have all kinds of they had all kinds of stuff like that out there that different people try.
At about 5 a.m., the killers returned to Nash's house with Holmes.
When they brought Holmes back, I noticed that there was blood on Holmes. I noticed that there was blood on Gregory Dials.
Holmes was upset and scared. John went to the only safe place he'd knew his wife's apartment. It was early on the morning of July
Yeah,
the
of
1st,
course he's
just
scared.
hours after the murders,
Just
when
watched
Holmes knocked on the door.
5 people get murdered.
He was bloody. Face, a lot of blood on the clothes, you know, that kind of thing. And I asked him what happened, and he said, I had an accident. You know, and I said, well, how did you get here? And he said, well, the car's okay. And he said, I'd like to clean up and I need to, you know, change my clothes.
Sharon ran John a bath and sat in the bathroom talking to him.
I said, this isn't a car accident. What happened?
Thank you.
And he
How you
said,
doing?
well, I have to.
Yeah, I know. How disgusting is that? You gonna make fun of you gonna make fun of a 13-year-old child? I mean, really? How dumb are you? How like I said, they can keep being scumbags. I'm gonna keep doing my shit. Just see you
Tell
laugh.
you, I saw
I
people
appreciate the support. Believe me.
murdered. Then it starts spilling out, you know, like, okay, it's confession time and you've got to get it all out because, you know, it hurts too much to have it there.
As the sun rose over Los Angeles, 4 victims lay dead inside the house on Wonderland Avenue. Miraculously, one victim, Susan Danius, was still clinging to life.
The crime was not reported to the police until the evening of the next day. Meanwhile, everybody in the world apparently went through that house. And when I say that, I'm friends of the residents of the house, dopers, went through the house, stole the dope, stole some money, walked over the bodies, and no one called the police.
Finally, at 3:52 p.m. on the afternoon of July the 1st, 1981, nearly 12 hours after the brutal assault, the crime was reported to the police.
A woman's moans were heard by a mover who was working next door. He went to the house on Wonderland Avenue and found a woman beaten all.
Yeah, it wasn't even a neighbor. Movers, just by chance, heard this woman moaning as she's dying. I mean, she's still alive, but like she could have died if they hadn't got help. But yeah, a movers heard her.
To death.
Across town, John Holmes left his wife's house and made his way back to the Hollywood motel room where he'd left his 21-year-old girlfriend, Dawn.
Oh, I'm sorry. She's 21 at this time. Man, so he's with her for a long time. Because she talks about how she was 13 when they met in the apartment complex and shit.
He looked terrible. It was daylight when he came back. His eyes were bloodshot. His face was just pale, and his demeanor was very dejected.
Early next morning, July the 2nd, the cops caught a break.
She ran away and came back.
Was a biker from the Sacramento area. David Lynn revealed to us that he and Ron Lanius and Bill Deverall had robbed a local purported narcotics dealer by the name of Ed Nash. He then brought up John Holmes and alluded to John Holmes being a so-called intermediary between the group up at Wonderland where the killings happened, the victims, and Ed Nash.
The cops put out an all-points bulletin for John Holmes. Finally, they tracked him down at the Hollywood Motel.
John was sitting on the bed facing the door, and all of a sudden I heard this like giant explosion. And I thought it was a bomb. I jumped into his lap and grabbed a hold of him, and we were pressed up against the wall, and the police yelled, "Freeze."
Dawn was booked, but quickly released. Meanwhile, John languished in jail overnight.
The next day, we got a phone call from John in jail, and he said, "You have to get me out. You have to come up with a bail." He said, "They're going to kill me. I've had several death threats already."
When you're booked, and I need to look into that. If you're booked and released, do they keep that information? Is it still like on a database? Like if they bring you in for a crime you had nothing to do with, and they do your fingerprints and your mugshot, I wonder if that stuff stays on a computer, if they get rid of it once they realize you had nothing to do with it. Like her. I wonder if her mugshot's out there.
But before Dawn and Sharon could raise the bail money, Holmes apparently changed his mind. In exchange for witness protection, he would tell the cops everything. The police officers called Sharon and Dawn.
And they said they had John in protective custody. He was willing to give them some information, but he wasn't going to do it until he could speak to both Sharon and I together.
Dawn and Sharon both agreed to meet Holmes. Officers picked the women up, brought them to the Bonaventure Hotel in downtown Los Angeles.
For the next couple of days, we just kind of sat around very quiet. We all slept in the same bed with John in the middle. We had our meals served to us, with guards with guns or cops with guns.
John kept stalling the detectives. After 2 nights, the police switched hotels. By the 5th day, the police still weren't getting anywhere with John.
He took full advantage of this type of treatment, and essentially we never got out of him what we wanted to get out of him and what we knew that he had.
Things broke down at that point. They didn't believe what he was telling them. They just basically brought us back.
Because he kept changing his story and acting like a fucking junkie. I mean, he wasn't credible. He was not credible, hence why Eddie Nash never got prosecuted.
The cops set Dawn, John, and Sharon free with a stern warning. John and Dawn were nearly ready to skip town, but John wanted more money. Holmes was so desperate that he was willing to risk his life.
John came up with the idea that Eddie Nash would possibly give us some money.
Oh my God.
We drove to the coffee shop just below.
What an idiot. God. And I really want to blame drug addiction. I really do. But at this point, I don't think I can. Oh my God. What an idiot. I mean, really.
Eddie Nash's house in Laurel Canyon. And John concocted this plan.
Incredibly, Holmes wanted to ask Nash for more getaway money, his insurance policy, an outrageous lie.
His idea was to tell him that someone was waiting for him if he didn't show up in an hour, that this person had letters that was going to be mailed to all these other people with information about Eddie.
Holmes left Dawn at the coffee shop. She grew more frightened and nervous with each long minute. Finally, after an hour and a half, John returned.
Well, he said he went up and he approached Eddie about giving him the money. And that Eddie said, "Why should I give you any money? Why shouldn't I kill you right here?" And he said that a gun was put to his head and he was made to beg for his life.
According to Holmes, Nash finally agreed to give him $3,000. John and Dawn were supposed to wait 30 minutes, then check Nash's mailbox.
Inside was an envelope. There was half of what he'd asked for. So from there, we just started driving.
The shaken couple made a beeline for John's sister's house in Montana. He thought it was safe, but the law was on his heels. Back in Los Angeles, the cops were turning up the heat on club owner Eddie Nash. By October 1981, LAPD criminalists connected John Holmes to the murder scene. His palm print was found in one of the bedrooms. Police knew from informants that one of the victims, Ron Lanius, had always been cruel to Holmes, forcing him to display his penis at parties, as if Holmes was a circus animal.
Like, the LAPD, they're really trying to get him. They haven't stopped.
There appeared to be sufficient evidence to file murder charges on Holmes.
Yep.
The cops now wanted Holmes badly. He'd never appeared in court on his 1981 computer theft charge, so they used this as a pretext for an arrest warrant.
We got a phone call from Ohio, from his mother, saying that the police had just been there and the FBI, and that they were looking for us and that we were considered armed and drug crazed.
The couple took off for Florida, acting less like fugitives and more like newlyweds, stopping at all the famous tourist spots.
He was back to his old self. He was, fun to be around. We stopped at places like the Grand Canyon. We stopped at the Petrified Forest. We did a bunch of fun stuff again.
But when money ran out, Holmes returned to his old ways. He started committing petty theft and breaking into cars. In one vehicle, John found a gun which he kept as protection. After 3 weeks, they reached their destination.
We arrived in North Miami Beach on Collins Avenue, and we pulled up to a transitional hotel called the Fountainhead.
John found work as a carpenter at a nearby construction site.
But it just seems really like a few weeks, basically. When I suspected John was using again, he seemed more stressed out when he came back at night. Pretty soon he started making suggestions about some of the hotels that were across the street. And pretty soon he was making suggestions about, well, if a girl was to walk on the beach, she could probably make some money. I kind of turned a deaf ear to that kind of talk.
But Holmes' suggestion became a command.
He insisted that I go out on the beach. I refused. And I started crying and I said, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. And he ended up beating the crap out of me.
Dawn worked the beaches of North Miami, using a hotel up the road to turn tricks.
He'd take the money and he put me in the bathtub and scrubbed me up. And basically, he just cried a lot. He hated having me to put me out there. He said, but we really needed the money because we have to go.
After weeks of working the beach, Dawn finally refused.
He started to beat me up and I ran out the door. And I ran all the way down by the pool. And he caught up with me by my hair and beat the crap out of me right in front of everyone who we lived with or lived around.
No one helped. John left a few hours later.
That's the last time I saw John.
Dawn moved in with a stripper friend and gave police the address of John's hotel. In 1981, LAPD officers finally found 37-year-old John Holmes hiding out in Florida. Holmes was arrested and returned to Los Angeles, where he faced a tough choice: inform on Eddie Nash or be charged with murder. But Holmes refused to cooperate. He was scared to death. On December the 8th, 1981, to pressure Holmes to change his mind, John was officially charged with murder. That same day, bodyguard Gregory Diles was arrested, but police were forced to release him because the DA's office felt there was insufficient evidence. Holmes, however, was kept in custody and placed in a special ward in the LA County Jail, a unit reserved for high-profile prisoners. Even among these infamous killers,
Yep, he got arrested and was put in protective custody. Yeah.
John was a celebrity.
I was excited.
He looks like shit.
I had seen his movies in years past.
Vonda Lear was John's jailhouse psychologist.
And I'm kind of ashamed to admit that I should be excited to see this porn star. But he was a celebrity. It was kind of a fun idea.
Fun
Various
idea.
deputy sheriffs were going to John Holmes, getting his autograph. Oh my God, this was a murderer. You should be treated as a murderer.
Yeah.
So I was upset at that.
Holmes became a prison trustee, but moving around the jail delivering magazines was sometimes dangerous.
One time somebody tried to stick a pencil in his eye, and another time they went after him with a shank, a little weapon knife they had made. And so they moved John to a single cell.
Though these incidents were never connected to Nash, they reinforced John's fears that even in jail, those who wanted him dead could kill him.
He should have been a better reliable snitch, and he would have been in fucking Whitsack. You know what I mean? Instead, he had to act like a junkie. They couldn't trust him, and here we are. Here we are.
After 6 months in jail, John Holmes' murder trial began on June the 3rd, 1982. Screw magazine publisher Al Goldstein covered the trial for Playboy.
The atmosphere in the courtroom was fascination. It's a murder trial. It's a celebrity murder trial. You've got a porno actor who not only is charged with murder, he jumps bail. He's in hiding for months. It was like a bad novel.
A bad novel Los Angeles couldn't put down. Pat Morrison reported on the trial for the Los Angeles Times.
There were so many things about this case that had not happened before or that caught the public's attention. For one thing, when this finally came to trial, it was the first time ever in the history of the American judicial system that videotape of the murder scene, the crime scene, was admitted as evidence. And what that videotape showed was this blood-strewn upscale house in which 4 people had been beaten to death by steel pipes and baseball bats. Another person critically wounded.
Horrible.
Prosecutor Ron Cohen.
It just showed how horrible murder can be.
Horrible.
That was very, very strong. We knew what the murder weapon was because the bodies had threads on them. It was a pipe, a threaded pipe.
Damn.
The bodies actually on the wounds had the threads of the pipe embedded in them.
There was blood all over. I remember I threw up twice.
Damn.
And it was, particularly gruesome.
Damn.
It was not just the murder of these people, but it was a murder that the perpetrators enjoyed doing.
On June the 7th, Susan Lanius, the miracle survivor, took the stand.
She would never be able to identify anyone. About as close as we got, she recalled noises, thumping noises. She recalled shadowy figures coming at her.
Star witness David Lind linked John Holmes to the robbery at drug dealer Ed Nash's and the murders on Wonderland Avenue.
He would not be bullied on the stand. He would not be intimidated by anybody. Without a doubt, I think David Lind initially was the strongest witness.
The prosecutor seemed to have a strong circumstantial case against Holmes. Holmes claimed he was only present at the murders because he feared for his life. But according to prosecutor Cohn, the distinction was irrelevant.
Duress is not a defense to murder. Somehow the defense was able to argue it.
Holmes' lawyers called no witnesses, but in their closing arguments, the defense attorneys repeated charges that the real killers, who also threatened John Holmes, were still at large. On June the 25th, 1982, almost a year after the murders, John Curtis Holmes was found not guilty.
I was so shocked when I was not guilty. And here I was, a young deputy district attorney. I walk out into a milieu of TV cameras and lights, and I have microphone stuffed into my face saying, well, how do you feel? And the only thing I remember saying is, well, the sun will rise tomorrow. I was too much in shock.
Didn't know what to say. It was like, what? You got him at the speed.
Now a free man, Holmes had nothing. No career, no money, no women. So he returned to what he knew best, sex films. Former film actor Bill Margold.
Welcome back, Hail, Hail, the King is alive. He was tired, but again, he was still able to function because within the same time frame, Misty Dawn on the set of Marathon in San Francisco says, I can't wait to get that man up my ass.
Porn star Ron Jeremy recalls it was a tense time for Holmes.
He was afraid that there was people out to hurt him because supposedly the whole thing between him and Ed Nash and Greg Giles. So he had a gun. He was packing.
I didn't know Ron Jeremy knew John Holmes. I did not know that. Interesting.
The gun on him. His assistant Bill Emerson had a gun. All these guys are packing.
In 1984, John also did something he'd never done before. He made a feature-length gay sex movie.
John Holmes did a movie, a gay film, for a company called Paradise Visuals. And the actor he worked with in that movie supposedly got ill, too, from a virus.
In July 1986, Holmes was diagnosed with AIDS, but he didn't let the disease stop his work. When rumors about his HIV status circulated around Los Angeles, John went to Italy and made films with the country's most famous sex star, Ciccolina.
The thing really is a horror story. What makes it so horrendous is that, John Holmes knew he had the virus and he went across the ocean to work with Ciccolina.
Yeah, he's not up there no more. So yeah, he's probably fucking passed out. He's not even in chat, so I don't know. I'm just waiting for JM to say, let's go, and we'll head over there. I'm sure he's out doing something, so. But yeah, he's tagging. Yeah, he went to go find the gooch. I went and found the gooch. Let's see if we can find where. So earlier, she got really kind of interesting. Let's see if we can catch it all.
I think I went. At Bonnie and Clyde locations. Most of my chatters, you already know. You were with me when we went live from the Bonnie and Clyde locations and talked about where they stopped, how they got shot, where Buck Barrow died, all that shit. So today we're gonna do the Wonderland murders. John Holmes. We've discussed this before. Good morning, Sam. You ready to talk about the porn king, John Holmes, Mr. D?
Liver failure in 1997. That same year, a joint federal, state, and local task force began re-examining the Wonderland.
Drug dealer wasn't okay. You hang out between me with a known capiche particular neighborhood, but do it again at some point. Oh, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it. Yeah, well, you know what? Like I said, there ain't been no man that has controlled me yet. I don't see a bunch of internet fags having any control over shit. Filthy, the only thing you're gonna take is a dick right in your fucking mouth. I know who you are. I know where you live. Try me. Try me, faggot. Try me. Try me. I know where you live. Okay? I know where you live and I know who the fuck you are. And if I choose, choose so, everybody else will know who the fuck you are. Just depends on if I'm going to be a little bitch like you. See, that's the difference between me and you is I'm not a bitch. I'm not a bitch. I don't need to show up at your house of a fucking nobody. You're a fucking nobody. You're a fucking hick. Why don't you go back to school and learn a thing or two?
Listen to this stupid bitch.
You ain't bending anybody over. The only person getting bent over is you. Repeatedly. Every day. Capiche? You know, and I bet your wife fucks you up the ass, doesn't she? I bet you're one of those little fucking redneck freaks. Little country boys that probably have fantasies about fucking your little drinking buddies, huh? I know your type. Hillbilly. I know your type. I know your type.
Yeah, she's about
You
to
are
end.
not a decent Southern person. Because like I said, I know where you live. I know what town you live in, Filthy.
No, you do not,
You ain't
bitch.
hidden. And if I so choose,
You think you
everybody
do.
else will. If I so choose it. Because see, what you don't understand is I have control. Me, not you. You're not in control of my life. You're not in control of my internet. You're not in control of my reality. You're not in control of shit. You control your pathetic little channel and your pathetic little mouth. That's it. That's the only power you have in my world. And even that isn't any power. Because guess what, fag boy? I don't watch your show. I don't watch it. I don't look. I don't listen. And I don't give two fucks. That's the difference between me and everybody else you've tried to pick on is I have the power of ignore. And I've been ignoring you
Yeah,
for the
you're doing
past
a good
2
job
weeks.
right now.
And I'm going to keep doing so because I'm an adult. I'm an adult. I have the ultimate power, not you. And as soon as you realize that, the better. So say what you want. What up, 6? Say what you want. Run your mouth all you want. The only people that are listening are you guys. Nobody's listening. Nobody in my world listens. I'm not listening. That's just not good mental health. I don't listen to people that make fun of me. So you make all the shows you want. You say all the fucking bullshit you want. Don't give two fucks. Nobody gives two fucks about a hillbilly, nobody, running his bitch mouth. Nobody gives two fucks. Yeah, they're never going to learn. I know. You know, and again, this one statement is going to one up anything you can say about me. You hang out with a known sex trafficker, a known woman who groomed women, drug addicted women, groomed them $800 a week. They had to pay her and her fucking pimp boyfriend. So let's just make sure you understand that. There is nothing you can say about me to one up that statement. You hang out with a known sex trafficker. Yeah. Oh, and Bambi Palermo didn't use the N-word. My name's not forensics. My name's not forensics. So keep go ahead. Keep running with that one. Bambi uses no. The screenshot you showed was forensics. My name's not forensics. My name is not forensics. My name's Bambi. Not forensics. Get it straight. Of course. Talking about the bee, of course. Of course. They rock with the bee. They're best friends with the sex trafficker. Anything they say about me, that statement one's up. Anything they say. You hang out with a known sex trafficker. I win. Take that big L. Big OL on your team. Big OL. Take that L. Nothing you can say about me is going to one up that one. You hang out with a known sex trafficker. Known sex trafficker. And you know she's a sex trafficker. You know she is. You know. And you think that you're like spiting me by having her hang out with you? Nah, you bitches are just looking bad. You motherfuckers just making yourselves look bad. So keep making yourselves look bad. You ain't bothering me none. Yeah, exactly. And then take you 60 seconds. You fucking know. Everybody knows. Look at that. Look at that statement right there. I make that one statement. Everybody knows who the fuck I'm talking about. Again, a known sex trafficker. We're talking 4 years back. Known. Everybody knows. Everybody. All right. Enough of that bullshit. They're not the center of anything. So we're gonna get back to what we had planned on doing. Back to Wonderland.
Oh my God. Oh, she's mad. All right, JM. Whenever you're ready, you can take over, sir.
All right. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming up.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me up.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. Anytime. Not triggered. No. Nope.
All right. See you over.
See you over there. All right, everybody. I'm dropping this link. There's the link. Y'all head over to JM and the AM, and I'm sure more will come. Great work, Filthy. Great work, everybody in the Workiverse. I'll catch you guys on the next one.